we have Lib and Learn drama. For those of you guys who do not know, they had Destiny Antifans on Lib and Learn to debate Hutch and the other Lib and Learn people. I don't know whose idea it is here to invite on Vadim, who is a tanky, essentially, and Ogreboy, who is also a tanky and a hardcore Destiny anti-fan and J-Stoke watcher. But yeah, I don't know. This is just, yeah. I think I recall Hutch saying he was okay with this. Yeah, sure, but like, I don't care about Hutch's consent. I'm gonna be real. Hutch is not allowed to say no. Or yes.
Oh, you now this whole
wait, this is Ogreboy? Damn, he's ugly. Dude, no wonder the haters never show their faces. Guys, this is why the haters don't show their faces. Because they're ugly as okay? Holy they're actually hideous. What the Ogreboy looks like if Deadpool removed his mask and somebody tried to draw him from memory. And Vadim, oh my god. What is that haircut? You need a refund. Guys, the state of the anti-fans cannot be more Jover. Okay, this is horrible. All right.
I have a problem with the deal that Acosta offered Epstein, as well with the Florida federal non-prosecution agreement. I have problems that they didn't follow up on leads there, but that is a problem that is, I think, principally addressed to the U.S. Attorney's Office under leadership of Acosta. That's number one. Well, and I think the agreement happened while Bush was in office. That's a problem, perhaps, with the Department of Justice allowing for these sort of investigatory leads to fester or whatever. It's not a democratic criticism. It is not a democratic criticism. It's important, I think, to maintain the political independence of the Department of Justice. And that's one of the things that I'm proud of supporting Joe Biden for, is not interfering. Now, I criticize him for his pardon, but at a bare minimum, he did not order, for example, this special counsel that was looking into his son to like not look into his son. If he had done so for political reasons, none of us would have any problem calling that corrupt. This is just the inverse of that. Saying that we would hope our democratic political leaders to selectively release these documents, it's like saying we should act like Nixon. It's saying we should act like Trump. And that's the ground on which I disagree with it. And I do think it's an example of like the Democrat, what do you call it, Hutch? The flow chart. Because here we have a perfect example of Trump malfeasance, of populist rhetoric that people can achieve to build. And instead, we're attacking Joe Biden for doing something honorable, which is not interfering in the Department of Justice.
I just rewatched the clip, and Jennifer Welsh, she talks at the front about like, not only is it the right thing to do to like get all these, but she does stress the point, and I think this was her primary point, that democracy was on the line, and they should have taken extraordinary steps to, release this information to selectively release this information to harm Donald Trump politically to help Kamala win that election. And I'm sorry, like you can't say in one breath that you understand that kind of logic, and then in the next breath, and I'm talking to you, Vadim, tell me that you're not going to judge people who didn't vote for Kamala. It's fucking ridiculous. It's inconsistent.
That's true.
Well,
okay, coming out swinging.
I mean, I have a lot to say about matters having to do with that, but I kind of will launch into that at the appropriate time.
Before we go into that, I have one last question, just because in general, like I really would like to hear the thought process on it. Would you still give Democrats credit for how much they've fought to get the files released now versus that you think it's a good idea in general that they didn't press to get any of this released during Biden's administration? That was one of the things last year specifically and leading in the last like 6 months or so. I know, especially from this podcast, overall, the entire thing.
I'm sorry. I just can't stop thinking of Ogreboy as a burn victim. I don't know why he looks like a burn victim, dude. I'm sorry. This is so inappropriate. I'm so sorry. I'm being highly inappropriate right now, okay? I will never make fun of a burn victim, except when his name is Ogreboy, okay?
Look how much of a fighter and how much backbone they're showing and trying to get these files released. Why wasn't that something that was even remotely touched on during Biden's administration?
Trump changed what's going on. His behavior changed. There was everybody's acting like there was an appetite for the Epstein files to be released in 2024. Nobody gave a shit about the Epstein files.
I thought that's
in fact, there were 150 names released due to the civil cases in January of 2024, and nobody cared at all. So the idea that that would have even impacted the election, I find ridiculous. People wouldn't have believed it. They would have said it's partisan.
I gotta do him like that? I'm not trying
to. We had 3 other cases against him that were way more serious.
Lots of people were talking about it.
Hold on, I was still talking.
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, but like a lot of people were talking about it, and there's an argument to be made that like that the the media kind of purposely did not go into it as much as they could have for all kinds of reasons. But anyway, go ahead.
Nobody cared about the Epstein files. Hold on, I got cut off. Fuck that. Nobody gave a shit about the Epstein files until Pam Bondi screwed it up with her influencer drop that went nowhere. And then
well, nobody gave a shit about the Epstein files until Elon Musk was the one that backstabbed Trump, right? Like, just to be very clear, I think that was the triggering event. It wasn't Pam Bondi, was it? Right? It was Elon Musk that was, okay, I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't care.
The real catalyst was Elon Musk tweeting that Trump is in the Epstein files.
Oh, there you go. I'm very smart. See? 500 IQ.
Until then,
right here.
Nobody cared about the Epstein file.
So as long as conservatives set the tone, it's okay for us to react reflexively to it?
No, it's their behavior in hiding it that has changed the tone and caused the public to give a damn. And Democrats have led the charge in representing the public, and a lot of conservatives too, saying it's time to release them now. Now you really can't mess around.
Because the way you're saying it is...
Wait, can I respond? I want to respond to the guy because I don't think that nobody cared. I think there was this kind of apathy of no one's going to do anything about it because there was this thing since 2019 where it seemed like no matter what happens, no one's actually going to prosecute. We're not going to see what happens. This guy already got his plea agreement. They killed him. They're going to get away with it. So I think already there was an appetite from the right, which I think that's why I was saying the Democrats, even just rhetorically, could have capitalized on that.
I think I think he's being hyperbolic when he says nobody cared about it. I think what he's saying is that Donald Trump and Pam Bondi and the Trump administration pulled off maybe the biggest example of like a Streisand effect of all time. Like with
I completely agree with this.
Their actions that thrust it into the mainstream. And then all of a sudden everyone was talking about the Epstein files because they were just making the situation worse for themselves at every step of the way, much like Hassan Piker with his shot collar.
One additional thing too, I want to address Vadim's, you're castigating the media a little bit here, and I don't agree with that. I mean, the second indictment of Epstein was itself part of a reaction to the Miami Herald report in 2018. I mean, there has been a great deal of media coverage over this, and even into the lead up to the 2024 election. There was like Daily Beast articles, release of an Epstein conversation with who's this guy who writes all the Trump books. So there has been a great deal of media coverage on Epstein-related matters. There just has been. There was an entire trial of Ghislaine Maxwell that happened during Biden's administration. The truth is, and unfortunately, like I agree with Hutch, I agree with Soy Pill, that the spotlight this has had, the corruption of the current administration has now generated an inflection point where people are like, oh, look, this looks fucking fucked up. It has generated new attention for it. The Democrats are capitalizing on it. But let's be honest here. This is not the deciding factor in the election.
Oh, okay, so I'm guessing that Vadim and Ogreboy, of course, right? Because they're lefties, right? They're always going to be criticizing the Democrats, right? But they're always going to be criticizing. Okay, they're trying to go that direction. I see where they're going. All right.
This is not the issue that most Americans care about.
Oh, they capitalized on it? No, they didn't capitalize enough, right?
In terms of who they're going to elect for president. It just is the case. And so selling this as a big sort of either active decision that Democrats are taking to hide the files or to not take advantage of a wellspring of political opportunity, I think is running into the lack of importance that this issue had in the 2024 election. And also, I think the fact that it would run up into the norms that we tend to respect in this country between interference in the White House and the Department of Justice. Or at least I hope it was respected.
Okay, fair enough. But just real quick, I just want to say that like I sort of feel like a little inadequate inside this conversation because there's so many aspects of this that that you're speaking to that I would want to kind of look into before having like a real conversation like this.
I was just curious why it has to be the binary of attacking it from the purpose of yeah, I agree. If you think it's going to be like a October surprise type thing, that's dumb. I'll concede that. That's not anything that I've been arguing. But the notion of, like I said, everybody thrives on conspiracy theories. Fucking Area 51, JFK, all this different shit. This was going to be something that people talked about probably for decades more to come in some capacity. Was it the thing that cost the election? No, but I don't really feel like anyone's serious, and I'll include the I've had it gals. I don't think you have to look at them as like serious in this particular.
So where's the negligence, Ogre? Where's the negligence?
Why even point at the Democrats as if they did anything wrong here? It's outrageous to me. It's that flowchart nonsense.
Why would you? If you had the ability to highlight a group of people that were involved in, even if it doesn't meet textbook, like we've run investigations and trials and et cetera, why not at least show that like for sake of highlighting people that are basically using the rules and.
Bro, this is like anti-fans being thrown into the lion's den, dude. I don't think the anti-fans stand a chance, like even remotely a chance. There's absolutely, sorry, not the anti-fans, the lefties, right? Yeah, dude, lefties literally do no research. They don't look into anything. Like all they are is that they are Democrat anti-fans, right? It's like anti-fanning or snarking on any content creator, except the content creator is the Democratic Party, right? Have they done any research? No, they just paint everything in the worst light possible. And, they're also state sponsored by the CCP and by Russia, right? And it's just so cringe. It's very clear that, they don't do any research. They don't put any effort into anything. It's just cringe.
Their favor, flaunting their wealth to that degree, people that have that level of outreach to where if you gave a fuck, like the degree that Epstein was flaunting Palantir and shit like that to other.
But Ogre, what does that look like?
So much of this is like,
seriously.
Why would that,
Ogre, what does that look like for the?
I think that Pisco is bad faith and evil when he's defending himself, but I think that he genuinely comes from a naive place when it comes to these guys. Okay, I think he needs to realize. I think Pisco needs to realize that these people are not working in the interest of the Democratic Party. These people are not looking to better the Democratic Party. These people are not looking for that. And I think that this is Pisco's hardest battle to fight, and he has to fight it alone because his ego is too big. Okay, his ego is too big, which is why he has to fight it alone. Okay?
Democrats' perspective. So I want you to follow that chain of logic. Okay, they should have revealed information, not necessarily just about Trump, but about all these actors using the rules, using the fact that Epstein talked to the Palantir people, that he talked to okay, whatever you want to say there. What does that look like? A Democratic strategist gets on the phone for Kamala for America, or whatever the fucking the PAC is, or the organization says this is a really valuable opportunity. Now follow that communication line.
You're just
follow
it.
Follow it.
Same thing. I'm not saying do it as a campaign stunt.
So no. What does the Department of Justice have a meeting and say, how can we get Kamala elected? start it wherever you want to start it. How does this
I don't
idea?
care about
Wait,
it
no,
being
Ogre,
something tied to the
stop.
campaign. Why do you keep bringing that up again?
Ogre, you can start it wherever you want to start it. It can start in the halls of the Department of Justice. It can start in the White House. It can start at a super PAC. Where does the idea take hold? And now follow it to the action. That's what I want you to do.
You already started off earlier. You conceded. You said it was not a bad idea, or it's a very true thing that a lot of times, especially for something related to like the JFK assassination, that there can be this thing that captures the public imagination, and therefore it's something that's kind of beneficial to answer a lot of questions and put people's mind at ease.
Beneficial in what way? What do you mean beneficial?
Why do you think people want to know what happened in the JFK assassination?
I'm just asking you to put it. I'm just asking you to put it in
your own
words.
like intellectual
I'm asking you what you mean when you say beneficial.
No, it's asking you what you mean.
It's restoring faith and transparency about these things that people are curious about that are happening at that level. When there's the
one way you do that is not one way you do that is you don't interfere in what the DOJ is doing. Okay, you're saying you're not saying that. You're saying don't do that. And so your response to how does this idea take hold that you can use is you should have already been doing stuff anyway, right? That's
which is the most unproductive thing, right? You can't just say. You can't just say, well, they should have been doing this in the first place. Well, you know what they say? They say the best time to start, the best time to plant a tree was 25. No, I have to do this in the Asian accent because that's the best way for me to do this, okay? The best time to plant a tree is that 25 years ago. But the next best time to plant it is right now, right? It's better to do it right now than to never do it.
What you're saying? Did you say that?
Better late than never?
I mean, basically, sure.
Okay, so they were doing some stuff. They were prosecuting Ghislaine Maxwell.
I think you should always remember, if somebody always finds something wrong with the Democratic Party, chances are they're not pro-Democrat, right? Anybody who always finds that there's issues with the Democratic Party are not actually Democrats, right? I mean, they're enemies, right? They're enemies, but they're posing as critics. They're posing as critics, which is the issue, is because people like Pisco interpret them as critics. He doesn't interpret them as enemies of the Democratic Party. He interprets them as critics. But we'll see, because people, like at least one person has told me that that Pisco slowly begins to realize something, but we'll see. Okay.
They were undergoing an investigation, which at least alleged.
Well, hold on.
Who decides? Hey, let's release information.
At a bare minimum, if the Democrats released it first, doesn't that take away something that Trump's using as his big campaign thing?
Sorry. I just want to be very clear about what I'm asking here. I'm asking the way in which the idea comes to light and how it gets channeled for the Department of Justice to do a thing. That's what I'm asking. Not would it have been helpful if X. I'm asking you to provide us with a plausible way in which the idea takes hold, it takes root, and then it gets enacted into action such that it would call into question Democratic, negligence, that kind of stuff. So please tell us.
But also just to piggyback off what Ogreboy just said, why would it even enter Merrick Garland's mind to try to take away a potential political thing from Donald Trump? That's not the Attorney General's job. He's not thinking about how do I help Democrats win elections.
Right. That's not the DOJ we want. There could have been
something more along the lines of a mass call out for the release of those files on behalf of the Democrats years ago. That's the point.
Okay, so you want the Democrats to pressure their own DOJ.
If you believe not voting will ultimately cause less harm, you're just wrong. I forgot which post it was on r/Destiny. But I saw a post that was like the GNOME skeptic versus the GNOME obliterator. The GNOME skeptic wants to eradicate 50% of GNOMEs. The GNOME obliterator wants to eradicate 100% of GNOMEs. But the enlightened centrist or the non-voter says, well, us the enlightened centrist or the leftist or the non-voter, I choose to not vote for the lesser of two evils. And the GNOME is like, no, motherfucker, you gotta vote for the person who only wants to kill 50%. Why would you abstain your vote? You need to vote for the person who only wants to kill 50%. Because it's either the 50% guy or it's the 100% guy, right? It's just so stupid. Foodshops, what's your political channel again? Oh yeah, it's Fair Stalls, which is FARESTALLS. Fair Stalls. Yeah, like the fare to a bus, and then stalls, as in like market stalls. Foodshops, get it?
Right. So you want the Democrats, the politicians, to come.
Apparently, fair can also be a fancy word for sustenance.
Come out and say, "Hey, Merrick Garland, we want you to release these files and to really take ownership of that issue and to put it forward." And here's the issue with that, Ogre. What is the risk of that? And hopefully, you're seeing it right now, based on what's going on with the Department of Justice. For the Democrats to undermine their own Department of Justice and call for the release of, because you know what happens after that, Ogre? Oh my God, the Democrats themselves are calling Merrick Garland corrupt. They're hiding it to protect all the fucking schmetophiles. Look at what they're doing. Let's say for whatever reason, Merrick Garland, I don't know, wants to take a second, wants to take a week, 2 weeks to.
No.
Oh no. Good. Yeah, awesome. Why no?
It doesn't have to be. The argument doesn't have to be that he's corrupt or that he's hiding something.
Victory fanfare?
Not what it has to be. What it will be. What it will be. They'll say the Democrats themselves are acknowledging.
Okay.
Why would the Congress have to compel him if he wasn't like hiding it improperly?
It's not a. Why would they release it if not for some manner of demand? I don't understand why it has.
We're talking about the
Illuminator, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs on Kick. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Political benefit to Democrats deciding if you're saying, okay, it doesn't originate in the hall of the White House because you recognize that would be corruption. That would be like what Comey did, right? That would be interference in the political process.
Don't make it an October surprise. It doesn't have to be anything more complicated than that.
So you would be okay with Biden, let's say at the start of the year, saying, "Hey, you want to find some files that might help me?" And this is kind of fucking tricky.
I'm just asking for like
why does it have to
Epstein
be something that
files,
specifically helps Biden?
I think it would have undermined public trust in the DOJ because they would have been limited in what they can release, and it would have made people trust them even less, and it would just cause more problems for the
Biden's DOJ
Democrats.
wouldn't have actually gone along with the existing law that Trump's DOJ is not following. If
there wasn't a law,
there wasn't any law. The DOJ can release anything anytime.
Holy shit.
Yeah, but you skipped Pisco's point. You just skipped it.
Do you understand how bad it would look for Democrats to pass a law compelling their own? You realize that's a huge negative against Trump, that they had to pass a law to get the DOJ to even partially comply with what people are expecting with respect to transparency of the Epstein files. It wasn't a political benefit. This entire issue has not been beneficial to Trump. It's been negative to him. That's why I'm not understanding the people who are saying, oh, this would have been so beneficial to Biden if he just released it all. One, I think it presupposed corruption, but even if not, it looks horrible.
But it's only negative because of Trump's behavior since he took office. None of this would have happened the way it's happened if it weren't for Pam Bondi and Trump and their behavior.
Okay, well, I mean, that being the case, to me, then it doesn't come across like the Democrats should be getting some kind of like brownie points for being like ferocious fighters in this particular.
Why? They got the Epstein Files Transparency Act pushed to the forefront. It passed 427-1 unanimously in the Senate. Every Republican coming out. It sunk Marjorie Taylor Greene. Her career's over, and it's going to take out more people. And you say the Democrats accomplished nothing, all from the minority.
No. It's not a matter of accomplishing or not accomplishing. I'm just not going to go out of my way to give a huge standing ovation for something that if the goal was to get the files.
Yeah, but why shouldn't you, right? But why shouldn't you? If from a minority position, if you manage to shut down the government and you manage to have election sweeps, right? Why shouldn't that be celebrated, right? If you're really truly a Democrat, right, and the best interests of the Democrats are in your best interest specifically, why is it that somehow it's not enough? Right? Shouldn't you be celebrating a little bit? Maybe just a little bit of celebration. Like, you're not even going to bring any party balloons. You're not even going to, celebrate even a tiny itty bitty bit. You're not even going to do that. You're really going to sit here and say, you know what? I think that we deserved anyway to sweep these elections. I think that the results of this election was promised to us 3,000 years ago. Like, so what are you talking about? Like, bro, chill.
At least ever. If it was ever a good idea, then it was always a good idea.
That's not true. That's just a silly
but they
thing.
would have never been.
I don't agree. Sorry.
Judeo and Sumeria, but election version.
It's crazy.
Okay.
If it's ever a good idea, something, it's always a good idea to do it.
No, circumstances.
You don't believe that.
Make it.
Yeah, obviously.
Time to go back to the swamp.
Correct. And when Biden's in office, at that moment in time, I just think that like any kind of request or demand is gonna, unless it's funneled, like you say, from the Congress people or from like a groundswell of Democratic activists, the very Democratic activists who I think sometimes don't want to take any responsibility for their coverage, et cetera. But unless that happens, it's going to be corrupt. And if it does happen that way, it puts the Democratic administration in the position of on the back foot, right? When they're supposed to be concentrating, I think, on making the American people's lives better, et cetera, they're now dedicating hundreds of people to redact all these files. Like, it's crazy to me. We have like 500 plus U.S. Or assistant U.S. attorneys and staff reviewing all these files under the Trump administration. That is a crazy amount of capacity in this time.
And by the way,
actually, wait, Pisco, I want to say something.
Thomas Massey said, well, I just want to say real quickly, Thomas Massey said a private organization with 5% of the resources of the DOJ would have met that December 19th deadline.
I want to say, Pisco, to your point, because I was a little skeptical of your guys' side of this, but what you just said kind of convinced me, where, yeah, if the Democrats had decided to do this during their administration, the amount of time an effort that they would have to redact. Because guys, redactions for the Epstein files, some of them are clearly like, all right, why did you do this? But a lot of them are very legitimate, like protections of certain things and private information. That would, I think, probably have been used against them in the same way it's being used against Trump now, to say like, hey, sure, the Democrats are releasing the files, but they're just hiding all the stuff that makes them look bad, right? And I can kind of see how that would have hurt during the election.
To piggyback off of what Ogreboy said, I do think you should give the Democratic Party right now a lot of brownie points because they're fucking demolishing Republicans politically and electorally. Like they are
Bro, any more Democrat glazing, and I think Ogreboy might actually pop a vessel. All right, I think he might actually pop a vessel at this rate. All right,
annihilating the Republican Party right now.
If he has any vessels left, that is. This guy actually looks like a zombie. Okay,
yeah, but Republicans are annihilating themselves. You know, like in some cases, I think Democrats are doing active things to facilitate that, but in some ways, they're just like fucking getting out of the way and allowing.
I totally disagree. I mean, they presided over the longest shutdown in government history. They emerged from that shutdown, the clear winners of that shutdown.
Are you fucking kidding me? Like,
what are you basing the idea that they lost that shutdown fight? Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. The number of Americans, the percentage of Americans that blame correctly, the number of Americans that blame politically the Trump administration and Republicans for those tax credits expiring, which now everybody is paying higher premiums, is like 55%. The amount of people that blame Democrats is like 20-25. They had like a 25-point lead in that respect. That is a political fight that they fought. And
this is a sick man with sick thoughts. I think ninjas like him should
won clearly. And right now, we're in the midst of another negotiation, a budget negotiation, where the administration themselves are signaling that they are prepared to make concessions on ICE. That's because the Democratic Party are pouncing and using this moment right now to actually push it. That's not them just standing back passively. They are.
Let me respond.
He kept on trying to interrupt me, bro. I was almost done making my point.
Talk for a while. Go ahead.
What? That was like 30 seconds cumulative.
Okay, let's go.
All right, you know what? Let Ogreboy go, since I was trying
After you spent, I don't know how many weeks with your main question that you asked people was to
Why does Ogreboy also sound like somebody who is constantly on 1 HP? Like,
say, well, I think they could have waited like 3 more days before they waved the white flag and showed their bellies to the Republicans. I don't understand how you turn around and have this notion of like, they're going to fucking they kicked ass last time and they're going to kick ass again. We live in a world.
He's saying that they could have optimized a little bit more. To be clear, my podcast co-host will corroborate this.
Like, he just sounds so Weasley and like weak. That's what Ogreboy sounds like.
I never said. I said that they got close to having like maximal gain. I think maybe they could have stretched it out like 1 or 2 more weeks. That's been my position the entire time. But that doesn't mean that they didn't clearly win that fight. That doesn't mean that they clearly didn't win that fight.
We're arguing about optimal gains. So you see me and Hutch fighting about, yeah, they should have, I think that they should have be willing to do an indefinite thing. Hutch doesn't think that. We obviously fought about that a lot. But I come out of that fight thinking Democrats are better off for it in general. It's just a question about like lost, opportunity cost. That's the debate. Yeah. And I do think, by the way, I probably agree with you that, Ogre, that I don't like our leadership right now in either Congress. But it's not the case that
all Foodshops watchers have insomnia. That's a weird way to say Australian.
Like, I would say shit on Democrats. They're not doing anything. They are doing stuff, and they're fighting, especially on the state, the state level.
I mean, sure, but at the same time, even in this moment where they're talking about concessions and everything, wasn't it? It was maybe Friday. Schumer's already making concessions on his own concessions that he's asking for. Like he's turning around and he was turning around and saying that when it came to the masking, that no masks. But unless, if a terrorist group put out somebody's picture, then maybe we could do them. He's already giving up on the things that he's asking for before it's even been agreed upon in press conferences and shit.
And some of these things
there's rare exceptions.
That's
what he said.
And some of these things that are being asked for are actually, like, a decent amount of them are just not wins. Like, it's not a win to ask for cameras to be on constantly. Like, that is
What?
Yeah, there is. First of all, they have control over the cameras themselves. I wish that I kind of recalled more, but there was an interview on Democracy Now! With someone who kind of was a well-versed with all this stuff, who kind of goes into the reasons why
he's the author of propaganda, right?
What's that? Yeah, it's the author of propaganda. Exactly.
Propaganda, yeah. Oh, this is the actual Justice Warrior shit, right?
Yeah.
What's your argument for the cameras being useless? Who cares what someone else is saying? What is your argument?
Well, I mean, part of it is that it is used as like a means of like unfair surveillance. The historically, the use of camera footage is always curated by the by like, you know, in most cases by the police, because that's most of the situations in the past where we've had
and Vadim, it's not just this guy. It's like this, the Democrats have said this, and this is very reasonable. It's the camera is not a win unless you attach the caveat of you guys can't control what footage comes in and comes out, and you can't be using this for mass surveillance purposes. That's
of course
the argument. Not that the camera's always on.
And they're going to go ahead and do those things whether we like it or not. It's just not the win that
you could attach criminal penalties. You could attach criminal penalties if the federal law enforcement officers disable their camera right before they do a raid or something like that. You can codify that into policy, into law, right?
Are they doing that? I don't think they're doing that.
If everybody knows.
Yeah. Everything is bad. Everything is horrible. Things can never get better. We should just sit around and do nothing and everyone dies. Except you guys will be the last ones affected because you guys are white.
These guys are wearing cameras, then they know the footage exists. So if they try to delete it, it's going to look terrible. And the only reason
6 body cameras on when they
are they. Oh my god, this is such a stupid
Petty or Petty, right?
Yeah, but we have other footage.
Footage is helpful.
And I was actually going to make that point. Is the official narrative, if it weren't for camera footage from those 2 incidents with Renee Good and Alex Preddy, would be these were 2 domestic terrorists who went there to kill ICE agents. In Renee Good's situation, she went there to run them over after they broke down in the street. And Alex Preddy was a would-be assassin who came to cause maximum carnage. That would be the official narrative if it weren't for video.
About people's iPhones from down the block. I mean, like,
are they actually arguing against like cameras for the Alex Preddy and Renee Good situation? No way, right?
I understand
body cams on some of the ICE agents, and
you don't think that if they were wearing a body cam when Renee Good was killed, that would have been really helpful, especially in the context of like, did he get hit? Did he not get hit?
Yeah,
no, wait,
more cameras, the better.
What are you saying?
When it finally got court ordered to be released.
I think Vadim has that no sleep disease. You mean fatal insomnia? I will not fit post. I will not fit post.
Sure.
You actually don't. You don't think we should have body cams?
I will not fit post.
You're missing the point entirely.
I'm asking the fucking question. Answer it.
Stop. Pisco, stop. What he's saying is that if they have control over what body camera footage is released, to IRI's point, is that the official narrative doesn't get debunked until they release the footage. So it doesn't matter that they had body cams. We never saw the Preddy body cams.
But they respond to political. Wait a second. Did they respond to political pressure, bro? Why do you think they released? Why do you think they released the footage? The guy that shot. Hold on. The guy that shot Renee.
I'd have night terrors if I looked like a raccoon too. Hey, my duder, don't insult raccoons like that, okay? Jesus, that's literally our channel mascot.
He was filming that with his phone. They released that the next day because political pressure went through the fucking roof. And the same thing's going to apply to body cameras. I think these 2 guys are horny to not acknowledge like a clear Democratic Party like win or potential win.
That's
so you're
possible,
preemptively.
You have to acknowledge that the Preddy thing would not have blown up the way it did if we had a delay in the release of whatever body cam footage, or if the body cam footage didn't see so clearly what we saw on that iPhone camera, which was they gunned this guy down in the back.
No, it's always better. It's better. I agree. It's better to have people.
You guys, I'm just kind of amazed here that all of you guys expect the like ICE to be so forthcoming and so honest with what they volunteer and what they don't, given like their entire fucking history and what we've seen within.
You're missing the big picture. You're missing
right now.
You're missing the big picture
for the next 3 years.
No, sorry, shut the fuck up, Ogreboy. You guys are missing the big picture. One, I want an actual answer from Ogre before I go on. Do you support them mandating body cameras or not? I want to answer that.
Obviously,
you do support that.
Okay, so why have so much fucking critiques against the Democrats? Just notice how these people frame everything in one way, right? Again, when I say that they are anti-fans of the Democratic Party, like I'm not joking, right? It's not like I'm exaggerating. Everything that they do has to be fit, like it has to fit the worldview of Democrats bad. All right, every single piece of information, every framing of fact has to fit Democrat bad. If it doesn't fit Democrat bad, then clearly you're not framing it correctly, right? Yeah.
Happening. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we're agreeing on that. So then the question is, I don't know. Shit, is there? You're not sure if you do. Okay, well let me.
Yeah. Because look, I might, but I would want to investigate more.
Ace Pisco, I don't know why people are surprised at this. Pisco has pushed back really hard against Prime Kai when Prime Kai was doing the meme where he was calling him a shitlib. I mean, again, you really shouldn't be surprised. However, again, all right, I'm sure you guys will say something like, well, I'm not a Pisco fan anymore. Pisco want me back this time. And then next time Pisco lets you guys down, you guys will be like, oh man, Pisco fucking sucks.
Of the kind of arguments about mass surveillance and the way that it would be used, and that I would want to investigate that and make sure how I feel about that before kind of signing off to it.
Well, hold on. To answer both yours and Pisco's points, first of all, they're using their own phones anyway. Like, that's for starters. They're shoving phones in people's faces, saying that basically that you're now on a registry whether you like it or not. So the idea of people's rights being violated, it's already actively being done anyway. But the other aspect
you're
of this
missing the point. You're missing the point. The point is you need to bog them down.
I had one more, and it was going to speak to what you're wanting me to address.
You don't even know.
The other aspect of this is like, yes, body cams are obviously a good thing, but at the end of the day, you're talking about a delay, a dice roll as
good
to whether or not that information.
I admire Pisco to a degree. Okay. To a degree. All right. Let's not go too far. All right.
It's on the body cam. You're missing
the big picture. No. You're missing the big picture. Are they going to abuse and selectively release and withhold stuff, whatever? Of course they are. They're already doing that with tax information. They're already doing that with everything they have access to. The point.
Look, Pisco is like Darth Vader. Okay. There's some good in him. He's like Darth Vader. Okay. There's some good in him. All right.
Of this opposition, this resistance against the administration, is to bog them down in procedure and bullshit issues that they have to go into court to argue. The more little latches you have on about, did they release the footage? Did they not release the footage? Those are ripe opportunities for us to go into court, issue a fucking FOIA request, ask for an injunction, release this information. They're withholding the information. The more you can bog them down in fucking court and paperwork, the better. That's why this is obviously good. I know we're going to have people with cameras there. We already expect people, patriots, that do their First Amendment jobs and record people. So it's not like the footage is necessary to investigation. I don't think that it's generally going to like dissuade conduct anymore. It's to bog them down.
You know, the worst part about these like spineless cowards is that none of these motherfuckers will ever go out and do any of the work themselves. Like it's not like these guys are a bunch of like activists who are looking for new ways to essentially improve our like fucking condition, right? There's no these guys are not activists. These people don't put in any of the work. I don't know why anybody ever takes their opinion seriously in any way. Like very blackpilling, okay? But ultimately, you have to these people are a social club, right? They host a social club. That's what they do. All right. Yeah. If an actual person who held cameras made critiques like this, then I would listen to them a lot more because I know that they walk the walk and they talk the talk, right?
Down in procedure and give opportunities for us to hold them to account, including
grandstanding the point, correct?
This whole will they or won't they release the image? They're being corrupt. They're not releasing it. It's all about that.
Pisco, just to make sure we're not talking past each other, I think Ogreboy's obviously said, and Vadim as well, for the most part, that body cameras are good, right? The problem is to see this as a huge win when what you just said, it's going to bog them down in some sort of bureaucratic, thing where we can attack them here in these courts. That versus having transparent body camera footage of them doing something viscerally wrong and releasing that the day or the day after is such a bigger win compared to what you're describing as like.
Vadim used to not be like this. He was pro Hillary years back. He used to do IRL panels. Well, we can't always be at our peak, okay, constantly. All right, especially coming from me.
Not a bad thing, but I don't think would have nearly the same amount of public outrage, the same amount of support for ICE plummeting, the same amount of pressure that allowed us to push the ICE out of Minnesota. I don't think that would have happened without the camera footage of this person recording. And
you can't mandate because they're just going to break the law. They're just going to break the law. I mean, you can't trust them to follow the law even if you were to pass it. Like, you're talking about an administration that is completely lawless and shit. Yeah, no, I agree. Would it be better if you mandated after every shooting all the body cam footage gets released? No doubt. Would I be okay with them arguing for that position? No doubt about that either. All I'm trying to say is this is good. This is what we want. And we want also the headline being Republicans bent to Democrats. Republicans saw that this was bad because guess what? That's blood in the water. That's blood in the water that invigorates us. To know, for example, another example of this is when they left, quote unquote, left Minnesota. Even if they didn't, right? Even if they didn't, that headline by itself is fucking helpful. And so I have no problem whatsoever for us taking this W. I do think that, and you guys heard me, right? I was mad about Schumer, or it was Jeffries, about the whole citizenship thing. And so there are plenty of things I think you can fault Democrats in terms of negotiations, but not this, in my opinion.
Okay, guys, I have actually the transcript of the interview that I was talking about with, his name is Alex Karakan. I'm not going to.
Who's with a bad debate performance? Never. Wait, clearly you didn't watch many of my debates.
Try. complicated last name. So I can read what he had to say here, and I think it's worth hearing. So here I go. If I have to say one thing in this moment, it is: do not become distracted by meaningless and counterproductive so-called reforms. Everybody who studies these questions understands that body cameras are not a reform to any form of police violence. There has been overwhelming research. There's so much research and overwhelming consensus on this question that even the federal government's own position for a decade or more has been that body cameras do not reduce police violence. Okay, that's a consensus. So you have to ask yourself, in the wake of outrage over police violence,
why is Vadim always outsourcing his thinking? Because the lights are on, but nobody's home, okay?
why are so many public officials, particularly Democrats, pushing body cameras? I mean, after all, the person who shot Renee Good filmed himself in that interaction. When what we know from all the data is that there was a moment when the police were so desperate to get body cameras, so were prosecutors. They badly wanted them to dramatically increase their surveillance capabilities, to link facial recognition software. There was billions of dollars at stake in cloud computing contracts for the tech industry and the surveillance policing industry. The prosecutors wanted them so they could prosecute in higher volume, low-level cases against the most vulnerable people in our society. There were all these reasons that they wanted them. They wanted them for crowd control. You're seeing now with ICE, when they go out on the streets, they have these cameras. They scan the crowd. They're mapping people's faces. The policing industry wanted body cameras. They wanted them so badly that before they got public funding for them, they were getting private donations for people like Steven Spielberg because they were so desperate to get these cameras. Now, there's probably a lot more here that is worth reading, but it goes on for several paragraphs, and unfortunately I haven't read through it, but I think that just from that alone, we're starting to see this expert's very clear opinion that these conditions that they're holding out for are, according to him, like just meaningless and in many cases counterproductive. So I'm going to go with this gentleman's point of view because I think that he knows more than all of us combined.
Who is this person? So like I don't trust this bear session. You say you trust this person.
Why, dude? Why do people still use quotes as arguments? It's so cringe.
On the basis of his expertise. What is this expertise? Off the top of your head, do you know?
He's the author of Propaganda.
The author of Who?
He is someone who speaks very often on myths about immigration.
Hutch is like looking at the camera. He's like...
crime and policing. And the last thing that I'll say also is that Democracy Now! I mean, like, I would like to be able to give you more in the moment about this particular person, but Democracy Now! Is excellent journalism. They they are very discerning with the people that they have on and the experts that they choose to speak to on topics like this.
But so, I have an even better idea. I have an even better idea. Okay, this is what we'll do. Okay. We'll encourage all of our protesters not to take videos either. No one will take videos. Wait a second. Let me finish my thought.
Okay.
Well, okay. So no one will take videos.
Dude, these people are so pathetic, dude. These people are like, oh god, they get no pushback on their own like fucking videos. They get no pushback on their own videos, on their own streams. They get no pushback. Okay, like these people are constantly in safe spaces. But the moment that they venture out of their own safe space, just watch as their demeanor falls, and these people are like mauling and they're like panicking and they're like all over the place and they're like, oh, I don't know how to act anymore. Oh my god, the most predictable. Okay, so predictable.
And because you agree, right? If people are like taking videos with their cameras, all these different angles, that's going to be these tech billionaires like fucking Elon Musk, they're going to be able to use all of that data to put it into their Palantir systems, right? Mm-hmm. So we should encourage all people not to record, correct?
No, because first of all,
why is the framing disingenuous, Ogre?
First of all, you're talking about average citizens versus the state, for one.
I know I'm talking about that. Why is the framing disingenuous? It's called a fucking comparison.
Well, Pisco, I think because they're not saying we shouldn't record. They're just saying this is lackluster compared to what they really want.
No. Sorry. Soy. I just responded to a fear regarding tech surveillance and using facial identification, to identify people related to crimes in these networks. That would be true both of body-worn camera footage and freely published imagery and videos from people who are recording on the scene. Correct? Soy Pill. This is the Soy Pill. This is the Soy Pill.
Yeah,
that is correct. That is true of both examples.
In the Democracy Now! Interview, I think that was the closest that AJW got to implying that these people don't want body cams. But I think the overall point is what he's saying is, and what the Democratic politicians in that subsequent article that he posted that also disagreed with this point was not that body cams are bad. It's that body cams is a platitude in their opinion. This is not what I'm saying, but they say body cams are a platitude. It's a meaningless win if they can control what footage comes in and comes out, and if they're just using it to their advantage and not to your advantage.
But they can't. No. I'm speaking. So you wanted to zoom out. So I don't know why you want to zoom out. I'm talking about something specific, which is a particular fear. The particular fear being seen that this data actually gives a lot of weapons for the administration. And you know what? To be honest, it sometimes does give weapons to the administration. But it's overdetermined because people are freely publishing these videos because they're on the scene. Notwithstanding that, our intuition isn't that we should stop doing that because we think that there's value in that being available.
My answer to what you're saying is that, like, yes, we should absolutely be concerned about that. We should be, as a society, and also just political content creators on the internet, my opinion is that we should be speaking up about these issues so that hopefully mass surveillance doesn't get to the point where every single time that we shoot like some video, it's just going into the Palantir system. Now, we might get to that point, and even if we do get to that point, I would argue that it is still better for civilians to be shooting people because, again, we have the matter of, like, are the authorities going to actually be forthcoming with...
Oh, sorry. This is beside the point. I'm so happy I'm selling all my fucking... Oh my god, I'm so glad I'm selling all my archaeology equipment and materials that I've accumulated. So much time spent getting 120 archaeology. Finally, I'm selling like millions and millions worth of shit. It feels so good. Oh my god, look at this shit. Oh my god, give me the money.
The footage that we want them to? No, of course not. So it is still a net win for people to be shooting what they can because then they are kind of like more in a position where if shit goes pear-shaped, they can fucking do something.
What about Palantir? What about the threat?
Pisco. We got 30 minutes left, and I do want to take a step back and talk about, because Josiah actually have a perfect super chat to transition to this for the last half, because this is the main reason Ogreboy and Vadim are on. He said, definitive answer from both of you. Vadim, you can go first. Would the country be better under a Kamala presidency?
Oh, absolutely. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah.
Okay. Can we get Ogreboy to answer that now?
Okay, Ogreboy, yes or no?
Both of you vote for Kamala?
Wait. Let Ogre. We'll get that after. Yeah.
I was telling people prior to the election that they should be voting for her if that was something that, if they were coming to me for advice on electoral politics specifically, I laid out the issues and I still said ultimately that Kamala would have been better than Trump and that they should vote for Kamala.
Yeah, I mean.
Then why do you spend all your time criticizing Kamala Harris? Then why do you spend all of your time criticizing Kamala Harris?
What I wanted to kind of launch into before we
just
hold on, real quick, super quick, Vadim. Is there something wrong with your eyes, Hutch? You seem to be blinking a lot.
I just emote a lot, I think.
Okay. I'm not used to that. Go ahead, Vadim.
Nice snarking there.
Wait, that's a lie, right? Wait, hang on a second. That's a lie, isn't it? Ogreboy, you just lied?
Yes or no?
Wait, Ogre, did you just...
He was just commenting on Hutch's reaction to something.
No, I just want to be clear. Was that a lie? You just lied, right?
It was being hyperbolic and sarcastic.
But it doesn't answer. Did both of you vote for Kamala? I'm not trying to give you I'm just curious.
Yes, I did, but actually...
Like, trying to comment on someone, like, blinking a lot, like, what kind of... Oh my god, these fucking snarkers are so disgusting, dude.
I mean, there was something that I kind of wanted to launch into in the remaining time that we have. Won't be able to get to everything, but could get to one conversation that I very much wanted to have with all of you, and so did Ogre, that is just basically directly connected to that. So I was told from Soy Pill that I'd have like an opportunity to kind of like read a little something that I think kind of like is a springboard into that conversation.
Keep it brief, okay? Not the whole manifesto, but like, yeah, your introduction to like why you want to talk about it.
Brevity is the soul of wit, as they say.
Okay, well, I think that this will, here we go. Okay, I will just go ahead and read it. So this was supposed to be said at the top. So, okay, so I said a big part of what brought me here today is summed up in this Twitter exchange that recently popped off and sparked a wider conversation on Twitter. In response to several centrist libs voting in favor for ICE funding, Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib tweeted the following out. She said, "Shame on every single House member, including the 7 Dems who voted to fund this killing mob, cold blood killing in our streets, some even clapping and cheering. I'm so sick of fake-ass people who say they uphold our Constitution. No, you don't if you fund this madness." And that provoked political consultant Neera Tanden to quote tweet her and say, "A lot of people can criticize the members here, but the last person who should do that is a person who helped Trump win when she could have supported the Democratic presidential candidate." So here we go. And I just have like a few more paragraphs to read. I wanted to say that
Please don't. I'm not here for Vadim bedtime story, okay?
I personally think the purpose of a statement like this from Tanden is more or less akin.
Dude, also, like, what is the point of all these things? Like, how about you just tell us what you believe yourself, right? How about you just tell us what you believe yourself? Why is it that you want to come constantly cite and quote all of these people. Is this how information is being passed along in leftist spaces? Is that everyone is just simply quoting and paraphrasing and doing all this shit? No wonder you guys suck donkey balls. Yeah, of course. You guys fucking suck.
Into a thought terminating.
No wonder you guys are so fucking retarded all the time. Have you ever seen a Vadim debate? That's all he does. Yeah, and he's retarded. I've seen a debate, Loner Box. It was horrible. A guy rage quit the fucking debate because he was doing so horribly. So embarrassing for him.
She's falsely attributing blame for Harris's election loss here. And just to provide necessary context for everybody out there, in regards to Tlaib, she vigorously spoke out against Trump and the threat to democracy that he...
Actually really sad. Our other best friend and I ended up successful, and now he is a physically dependent alcoholic who is dating a stripper. Why are you saying this? Oh, okay. You're talking about something else.
Presented, but due to the ongoing genocide in Gaza, she decided to refuse to explicitly endorse Kamala Harris as a matter of principle, and also in the hopes that doing so, along with others, might have provoked Harris to do more for the situation. She was holding out for concessions. Now, I want to say that personally, I and Ogreboy as well encouraged others to vote for Kamala Harris in the lead up to the election, in spite of feeling the same way, in spite of believing that Harris was not acting on something such as in spite of believing that Harris not acting on something such as this would have inevitably helped to provoke a great disinterest and apathy amongst voters that spread far beyond that of leftists to potential voters of all stripes everywhere. And again, I encourage others to vote for her, but I absolutely, and I believe that Ogre did as well, but we absolutely respected those who held out.
There's no point in encouraging other people to go vote for her if you spend all of your time criticizing someone. It makes no sense. Okay? I would never, if I wanted to get people to vote for someone, I would be fucking balls to the wall supporting this person. I would be like, you need to vote for this motherfucker, otherwise we're all fucked. Right? We need to vote for this motherfucker, otherwise we're all fucked. And it is your duty. It is not a right. It is your duty. Specifically, your duty. Okay? Not the one you take, like, for the toilet, okay? I mean, your duty to go and vote, right? It's your duty to go and do that, right? You should do that. You should do this. And I will never shut up about it. But these people are like, well, let me see. I'm just going to spend all of my time criticizing. Oh, wait, hold on. Don't worry. I got you. All right? Yes, you should vote for them. Anyway, back to criticizing.
For concessions.
It's like, what? Enthusiastic consent does matter in politics? Yes, that's correct.
Because we knew their conscience, not only that their conscience would not allow them to do otherwise, but also because it was a very worthwhile tactic that was attempting to coerce Harris to take necessary action in order to ensure a victory. This is almost over here. Anyhow, in my opinion, sorry, I miswrote here. Anyhow, in my opinion, near attendant sentiments here provides an excuse to just throw out not just what she was quote tweeting from Tlaib, but anything and everything she would ever have to say of political value, because if she's complaining about something, she's supposedly to blame for it. So fuck her. Now, obviously, this mirrors exchanges that are had all the time between tons of people like ourselves in all sorts of ways. So I'm hoping a productive conversation could be had with all of that as a springboard.
And scene. Hutch.
There you go.
If I can, oftentimes in online politics, people will craft analogies. Let me try to craft an analogy here. Let's say that you have, a village of people. It's 2,000 people. The number doesn't matter. And they have some kind of a barricade around the village that they live in. And the barricade is somehow threatened by something. Let's say like water.
Attack on Titan. I got you, okay? You're a weeb. Attack on Titan. Say no more. I got this. I'm kidding.
Sure. Let's say like the oceans rise, right? And it's established that the people that live in this village, they have to reinforce that wall. Otherwise, the ocean's going to come in and just like drown everybody and destroy the village. And let's say you have somebody that's in that village talking a lot about the threat of the ocean and the water and all that. It's just like, this is really bad. There's water coming. But then let's say that person doesn't help reinforce the wall, and then the wall collapses. Do you think that the person who didn't help potentially, or not potentially, do you think that the person who didn't help could have helped to like stop the water coming and killing everybody?
Ogre, you want to take that?
No. I asked you, Vadim.
Don't let him run away. That's what I'm saying. You gotta be like a predator. Vadim is your prey. You play with him, pet him softly, and then you fucking surrender. Sorry.
I'd like to go over to Ogre because
you little
I can already see you guys. Wait. I can already see you guys talking past each other. And what's going to happen is, tell me if this is wrong. Vadim and Ogreboy, this is my position, but tell me if this is a good steelman of what you guys are saying. The people that were holding out for concessions were not thinking that with their help,
Sleepy boy Vadim, okay?
They would have stopped Trump. Their thought is, if you don't listen to me and concede to my argument on Gaza, you will lose. So it would be, in its
to be more specific, if you don't do the thing that I want you to do, I will help Donald Trump win.
Sure, I understand the framing. I understand
that is not helping. Yes. They are already trying to do something about an apathy that is going to be there whether you like it or not. I very much like Ogre because I know Ogreboy has a lot to say about this, and I said a mouthful, and he can talk very capably about this.
Ogreboy, I thought you changed your mind about voting for Kamala, and you think that would have been the right thing to do. Didn't you tell me that?
The discussion in the moment is still the same. The idea of what a lot of people were trying to do in 2024, it was akin to yelling at the main character inside the movie theater while you're watching a horror movie, trying to tell somebody that
this was a United States representative who has a tremendous amount of influence in the state that she serves, which happened to be a battleground state. And she could have, at any point, told her supporters in no uncertain terms, the threat of Donald Trump is real. He is going to probably be worse than the first term. Everything that they're threatening to do in Project 2025 sounds like it will do a lot of damage. It will kill a lot of people. We can get into the USAID cuts, but I feel like that point has been made 1,000 times. And nobody forced her. You say holding out for concessions. I don't know what that means. Through the election? What does that even mean?
What do you mean you don't know what that means?
What does it mean to hold out? Was she hoping for a concession the day before the election? Was she hoping for a concession on the day of the election?
Looking for her to either do a weapons embargo or to
that didn't happen.
Or to promise a ceasefire. Hopefully,
and that didn't happen. But
that was right. If she had done that,
10 million people are going to die from USAID cuts, and it's partly her fault. It's partly her fault. Yes.
Vadim, what he's asking is, yes, holding out for concessions, he understands the concept of, hey,
he's so angry already. Come on,
I don't really want to endorse him to do this, but once it becomes clear this is not going to happen 24 hours before, because she's not going to pass that in 24 hours, why not at that point then endorse?
Because it's a fucking genocide.
Is Donald Trump is he a fascist?
What's that?
I'm so tired. I'm so tired about hearing about the genocide. Okay? The same motherfuckers, okay? Literally the same motherfuckers who don't care about the Uyghurs, all right? They'll sweep for shit that China has done. They don't give a fuck about anything Russia is doing. They only care about Israel and Palestine because it's their opportunity to shit on the United States. I cannot give more of a fuck about them talking about the genocide, okay? Go away.
Donald Trump a fascist.
Donald Trump is a fascist, and that's why, as I said,
is MAGA a nascent fascist movement? Is there an emergent fascist?
Throughout her campaigning, spoke to that constantly.
You seem to be just...
Because remember, to them, genocide is good as long as done by someone who hates America. But genocide is bad as long as that side is America aligned, okay? This isn't a case of pro-genocide or anti-genocide. It's a case of, are you pro-America or are you anti-America? Yeah, it's fucking dumb.
Breezing past the responsibility that people have to use their influence.
People are automatons.
To use their influence to affect.
I refuse to even call it genocide. Won't accept their framing. I agree. But even just based off of facts, I don't think there's enough evidence for genocide. And even if there was enough evidence to genocide, I don't think I would ever grant it to bad faith actors, right? Like the lefties. I don't think you should ever grant them to bad faith actors. No. Even if it's genocide. I don't think so.
The best possible outcome, okay? If you are a sitting representative,
forget about it.
Vadim, you don't need to interrupt every time I speak. Vadim.
Yeah, but you're
let me speak. I am not long-winded like you. I can make my point in 10 seconds witut 50,000
Vadim respond, okay?
You seem to be of the mind that people don't have a responsibility to use the influence they have to affect for the best possible outcome. You think that people get to
I'm saying that this is the way that they are using their
a couple
influence.
seconds. You seem to think that people can just absolve themselves of any responsibility that they have. She's a United States representative. Okay? You cannot tell me in one breath that Donald Trump is a fascist, and then in the next breath tell me, but I'm going to stop short of endorsing the only person that could beat her.
Is Vadim having a spurg out right now? I think Vadim is like unironically spurging out. This guy is fucking losing his marbles.
What I think.
I'm telling you what you're telling me, bro. You're saying you didn't have any responsibility.
Okay, let Vadim leave.
Oh my god, these guys are a bunch of grown children, dude. Oh my god, these guys never left high school.
You know, you shaved your head.
Like, have you never been in a debate before? Like,
and I think maybe you have like some sort of
let's not do this.
Don't go there. Don't go there. Don't go there.
It's beneath you. It's beneath you.
That gives you like psychic powers now. That the lack of hair allows you to pierce my brain. And
if you need a nap, just say you need a nap.
True. If you go to Bloodspurs, then let's go to Bloodspurs, okay? Tell me you need a nap. Tell me you need a nap, okay? Okay? All right? Lay down for a little bit, little ninja.
Let him respond.
Okay.
Let him tell you what he thinks.
Okay, let's go.
I think that they were using their influence to the best of the ability that they could by holding out in order to
what was that
to get something which they knew was the only thing that would win the election. Them kind of saying this scenario in which they kind of bit the bullet and did some sort of please vote for her. Like I know like it's a genocide and they've like completely ignored us. They didn't listen to us
was at that a bird?
They kicked us out basically at the DNC, and they are just kind of like shitting on us by funding a genocide of our community. Please just
our community. Vadim, you're the widest motherfucker, and the camera does not do you favors. You're the widest motherfucker to ever exist. Okay, you're the pastiest, most crackerist, okay, motherfucker to ever exist. Okay, chill. All right,
go ahead and vote for her anyway. Yes,
you don't even have an Arabic accent.
Maybe in some cases that would have gotten a few more people out to vote, but that would not have created the sort of groundswell of support that would have occurred if they were successful.
Okay, I follow you. So if they don't have influence sufficient to make any kind of meaningful impact on the election, why were they making demands?
Well, because
pause on that for a second.
Okay.
What leverage did they have? You're saying, well, they couldn't have really made a difference. Then what doesn't that annihilate the very premise? Like, it's absurd that they would be holding out for concessions because what leverage do they have?
What other options do they have other than trying to appeal to their
there's
representatives?
also another aspect of this, which is just kind of like at a certain point, people do have certain kind of principles that they like are going to like hold to, and that's is there no situation where you guys would where you would respect someone who did the same?
There are some situations. No, there are some situations. It's just they didn't present themselves.
Well, if there are some situations,
Vadim, for example, I've very often said,
of all things a genocide? I'll
tell you why.
If you're going to have,
I'll tell you why.
If you're going to just
bro, my brother, my ninja. All right, wouldn't the genocide be so much worse? Wouldn't the genocide be so much worse? Like straight up, wouldn't the genocide be so much worse under Trump than under Kamala Harris? Really? Like, if you want to maximize the survivability of the Palestinian people, it still doesn't matter. You have to advocate for the Democrats, right? You realize the entirety of human history is advocating for the lesser of two evils, right? This is not something you can avoid. There's no such thing as, oh, well, there's no such thing as, there's not advocating for lesser. That's exactly. Ozma is right. These people are unserious, okay? You're not being serious, all right? You're not actually participating in politics. You're being retarded, okay? No Foodshops, they would unironically say it would be the same. They're that stupid. Yeah, they would. They would unironically say the same. Oh, things would. You know what? Because Hassan said that, and I feel like that just infected everybody. It's so stupid. And then he just fucking doubles down. Leftists will say Biden and Kamala did nothing to stop the genocide in their term. Yeah, and well, I can count to 10. All right, that's my counter. I can count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait, hold on. At around counting to 4, I think I already lost most leftists. Okay, all right. That's how retarded they are.
Last sentence, okay? If you're going to have the cutoff at some point, then like why is like a genocide not the point where
like literally like you have drool. You're drooling, okay? You have drool dribbling out the side of their mouths, okay? They're so retarded. They're so chromosomally talented, all right? They're unable to see things. They don't have object permanence. They can't perceive how far something is, all right? They literally are so retarded, okay, that their eyes are like an animal's eyes. They don't even have, they can't even see 3D shit because their head is so bloated with carcinoma and tumors that their eyes are like on the side of their head and they're like I mean, like, as far as I'm concerned, I'm completely accurate on this because look how ugly these motherfuckers are. Damn.
you start doing that?
Well, I give this example a lot. Wait, I want to respond to this because Vadim, I give the example a lot of like I sympathize. I know people who have family in Gaza that were killed by Israel. Okay, like I understand their line of reasoning of like, wow, it's very hard for me to hold my nose and go say, yeah, the person who helped that happen, I'm going to go vote for you. But it's our job as content creators and politicians as well, especially so, to say, hey, just because this thing is happening and is awful, there are more things that are going to happen. And because both of you acknowledge Trump is just demonstrably worse, we need to do everything we can to stop that. It doesn't matter if
you won the election. There's no like scenario.
No, wait. I agree with that. Wait. I agree. Wait. I agree with your take that the Gaza issue didn't swing the election. That's why I think it's so ridiculous sometimes for people to claim credit that, oh, if they had just, to Hutch's point, if they had just listened to us, they would have won the election. I think that the loss had to do more with prices or whatever. But that's not what people are pointing at and why they're upset. Yeah, this quote tweet isn't directly responsive to the issue related to whatever, these 7 representatives who I condemned for their vote, including whatever, Glusen Perez, et cetera. What people are upset about isn't, well, we know they would have had a statistical effect in the election. It is the priorities of these people and what they view as the existential nature of the threat or that Trump imposes. The fact that we are all on this plane together and we're all going to fucking die if we don't gather forces and do what it takes.
Well, it's like the White Walkers, right? You can say many things. It's like the White Walkers. It's like the Fire Nation. I don't know. Just insert anything here. It's like Thanos, right?
For the benefit not just of ourselves, but for millions of other people in other places, including the people being slaughtered in Gaza. And on every score of that, there's a frustration not to be lectured to by these people. I'm not saying that it's directly responsive to what these people are saying, but you should at least understand where it's coming from. It's being sick of it. It's being sick of this kind of talking down to people who wouldn't even do the bare minimum.
No, okay, go ahead. Ogreboy has.
There's a couple different things here, and the first one is essentially one of the arguments, or at least the attempt to try to make this make sense, is that it's not a matter of what we as a group or the people sitting on Politics Nerd Island that spend all day reading and listening to commentators and public speakers and all this different shit. It was an attempt to try to like get some kind of message across to normies and have normies hear what comes out of the candidate's specific mouth to say what they were willing to do. She had the opportunity sitting across from Dana Bash to say, what are you going to do different? And she said that she wasn't going to do anything different.
But play it out, Ogre. Can I just say, play it out? So let's say, for example, let's say that we're in your world of political sort of analysis. Kamala Harris says, you know what? I'm going to announce
the Dominion. I'm watching DS9 right now. I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay.
For the first time here, Jake, whoever's doing the fucking debate, what's happening in Gaza is a genocide. And I'm immediately resigning. Because that's what she would have to do, wouldn't she? That's what she would have to do if she were the vice president of an administration that is a party to a genocide in that respect. The way you're saying is she can't be a party to it. She has to resign. How the fuck can she declare it as a genocide from her position as vice president, part of that administration?
I'm not
Talk me through it, Ogre.
It's not.
What should she have done then that she didn't do?
You're picking the maximalist position in the other direction to try to turn it into
so you don't hold it. You don't hold it against
scenario.
her. You're right. So you don't hold it against her. So now let's play another.
All she had to do
let's just do the other scenarios.
Can we fucking?
Why are these guys so bitch made all the time? I mean, yeah, like they're AI models of Hassan's POV. That's true.
Talk? What's happening here? Only thing that she had to do was say, yes, under my administration, if evidence comes across my desk that the Leahy Act or the Foreign Assistance Act, 620I, I believe, that when and if these things are being violated, I'll look into it. That's it.
Yeah.
That would have been enough to get a lot of the
grassroots is being violated.
Why would you ask me if that's what I feel is necessary when I'm telling you what I think is necessary?
Okay, so what you've just produced, right, is you're saying, I'm not asking her for the sun and moon. I just want some sort of token gesture that she would look into her boss and everyone that she works with for violations of the Leahy Act. Okay, but that's
the person. That
and then what's the ogre? Let me finish. What is the next question after she says, I think that we should look into violations of the Leahy Act? What's the next question? You produce it. What's the next question? Go.
Why hasn't Biden done that?
That's a great question.
Do you feel how about number 2? Do you feel the Leahy Act has been violated under administration?
Can you let me talk for 5 fucking seconds? This is so exhausting.
Maybe our administration is
Oh, Jesus. I didn't know that. I didn't know that Vadim's
violating and its obligations with respect to genocides. And so,
so if we go back to what I
that's
actually
a good
said,
political strategy.
Can I go back to what I actually said as opposed to what you tried to make?
Wait, was it Ogreboy that said that I'm so exhausted? Man, we should look into whether or not Vadim's insomnia is like contagious or
Make me say? I said all she had to say was essentially if information comes across my desk that there's violations of the Leahy Act and the Foreign Assistance Act, I'm willing to look into it.
That would have appeased a lot of the leftovers.
And also, bottom line, here, let me ask this, because this is one of the things that I wanted to get at. Do you guys even fucking continue to read articles or stay up to date on any news whatsoever to any of this shit?
Why is that relevant? Why is that? Hang on. So first of all, why did you just bring that up?
Why did I just bring that up?
Yeah, so you're like, are you studying your Gaza? Yeah, no. So and why is that relevant exactly?
Because there was 2 articles that came out in November specifically about how the Biden administration knew in December of 2023 that they were already committing war crimes in Gaza.
No, you're getting into the substance. You're getting into
Jesus, what happened to this Pisco has always been a thing. I don't know why people are pretending as if Pisco is suddenly like a different person and he's back to his old self. No. Pisco was like this when he debated Prime Kai. When Prime Kai was calling him a shitlib, he was debating like this. I don't know why people are insisting that this is a different Pisco. Stop. Like, okay.
You're getting into the substance of the argument. That's not what we're talking about.
I haven't forbid I touch on substance.
No, but that's not what we're talking about. Do you want us to actually have a conversation about whether or not they have violated the Leahy Act or whether or not is that what you think we're talking about, Ogre?
I'm talking about a failure on their behalf to do what's right in order to actually.
You don't think we're talking about the Leahy Act, do you?
Not only to be on the right side of history, but to also simultaneously save the potential for the fucking election. Yes.
Okay, no. Let me jump in here. There's a couple things I want to point out. Okay. There have been multiple independent organizations that have done their own estimates about the projected death toll from USAID cuts globally over the. You can
There was nothing. Don't
moralize to me about Gaza.
Project 2025.
No. Don't moralize to me about Gaza and imply that I don't give a fuck about like people dying or whatever. If you're going to poo-poo and hand wave the current
project,
oh my god, these people literally don't care. Like, oh my god, I hate how fake like people in this space is. Like I actually just hate how fake everyone is. I've said this to Steven yesterday. Like for example, the denims shit, right? The denims, Emru shit. It's so clear. It's a fake drama. I'm so jaded, man. I'm so tired. I'm so fucking tired how everything is just fake. Fake. And nothing ever stops being fake. It just keeps being fake and more fake. And it's just like, I hate how like this, oh God, everything is, I wish things actually meant something for real. So
you, all right? You don't even think it's genocide.
Don't speak. You told him to speak. Fuck you. The current projections.
Hutch. I muted them. Start over, and then
the current projections right now, and I'm gonna make my other point. The current projections now are that 200,000 kids on the low end of the estimate have died just in the last year from USAID cuts. That number is expected to swell to over 1 million. So you have no leg to stand on. You have no leg to stand on moralizing as though your red line of Gaza was some kind of justification to allow the Trump administration to come in and do what he did. I want to make my second point that I think is much broader, which is that you guys need to stop treating these elections like it's a fucking game that don't have real consequences. Okay?
Yes. Oh my God, Hutch. My ninja. Oh my God, I want to say the N-word so bad. I just want to say the N-word. Please, can I just say the N-word?
These are real. People are living and dying because of these things. The outcome of the election is so
oh my God,
enormous.
A week ago, listening to both
you don't get to tell me. You don't get to tell me that it's. Hold on. Let me. I wasn't quite done. I wasn't quite done. Stop using the threat of helping Republicans win.
You are reversing this whole
listen to me.
Thing.
Stop using a strategy.
Oh my God, yes, call these motherfuckers out, okay? Oh my God, these people are so fake. These people are not real. They're not real people. These people are not real people, okay? They're not real people, and I'm tired of pretending that they're real people. They're not real. These people are fake. They're fake. All right? Why should we have to deal with how fake these people are? It's so clear how fake they are. Oh my God. Yes, of course.
I'm going to help Republicans win. This is pathetic.
Please, just for a moment.
Vadim, this is pathetic.
Thank you.
Don't ask your soldier boy to jump in and take over for you and then jump in with this belligerent nonsense. Do I look scared, Ogreboy? Do you two intimidate me?
Okay, wait, Hutch, let him respond.
No, I was not. Let me make my last point. You guys, can you mute them for a second?
This is peak. Oh, my hands smell so good.
Mute them for a second. I'm serious. This belligerent clown.
Let him respond.
Let him respond. He cut me off, bro. He's been screaming the whole time. It is
because I'm fucking disgusted by what you're saying, and I need to.
You told Ogreboy to jump in because you don't know how to collect your thoughts, and then I start speaking, and you jump in and start yelling. No, you don't.
I know exactly what I want to say.
I'm muting all three of you. Okay, Hutch.
Wow.
I think your point was almost done. But you did make a lot of points there, and clearly Vadim wants to have a little response to this. So let's let Vadim get a word in, then Ogreboy can respond, and then you can all scream at each other again. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah. Okay. So it's my turn now. Is that what's
yeah?
happening?
Go ahead and respond.
Jesus Christ!
Bro, you are far more to fucking blame for this situation. So you're someone who every step of the way has denied that there is in fact a fucking genocide going on to begin with. So like I'm not like going to be like lectured by someone who actively helped create a status quo with the situation that is the reason why we lost the election because fucking the
Where's this Hutch? Where's Hutchinson? Okay, where was this version of Hutch? Where was the version of Hutch? Where was the version of Hutch? All right, where was this version of Hutch? The funny thing is, IRI is the real Zionist and he stays quiet. They're not worthy of his attention. Okay, he's a celebrity. All right, IRI guy is a celebrity. Okay, he's not. They're not. They're below him. Okay, they're shoot. They're below him, okay?
The Dems and principally Biden and Harris did not do not only what was a moral imperative, but what was an imperative to get people out to vote, to create a groundswell of like just like a feeling that they were going to actively be different than Biden and you have to start from like in order for me to like vaguely respect anything you're fucking saying, you have to like actually acknowledge all of the experts and like the massive amount of data that we have that points to it actually being a genocide before you try and guilt trip us about this bullshit.
Go ahead, guys.
Did you see the exit polls, Vadim? Like that issue was nowhere near the top of why people voted.
Well,
I've already put in front of Hutch before like
The issue is that a lot of people will just like retroactively justify things. My term for this is hindsight Andy. Because essentially what people do is that they'll look to the past and hindsight is 2020, right? And they'll see that something has happened, but then in order to frame it for their own propaganda, they'll frame it in a way for them, even though clearly it isn't due to that one reason, right? You shouldn't ever attribute anything to just a single reason like that, especially something like an election loss, right? I don't think you should ever attribute an election loss to one specific reason. I don't think you should ever do that. Like typically there are like a multitude of reasons for some shit, right? Like, yeah, of course. For you to say, well, it's because of Israel and Palestine is, I don't even know what crack you're smoking. I want some, okay?
Aggregate of 34 different polls that show that it would have meant winning.
Yeah, I want some crack.
I want whatever you're smoking. That put the first poll was Laksha Jain, your guys' fucking polling boy. Like the information.
Our polling boy,
polling boy.
The guy we had on for podcast is our polling boy. So
that you guys blaze. That's your boy. Hutch is your boy. This is your polling boy. What do you want?
Inflation.
Remember, okay, when you're making decisions at one point in time, you are using the information that is available to you from that point, okay? You're only using information that is available to you from that point, okay? It is impossible.
Thank you, IRI, for hitting this idiot with real facts.
Sure, thank you for the $20. I appreciate that. People live and people die. That's all there is to it.
Thank you, IRI, for hitting this idiot with real facts.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for 20.
And immigration.
But yeah, anybody who does hindsight Andy shit, please just ignore them. They're not serious, okay?
Inflation and immigration.
I'm not talking
and
about
you're right,
nationwide. I'm talking about in the swing states, which she lost. Wait, wasn't it all? It was all of them, right? Right? So
yeah. Wait. Just pause right there. Why did you say? Oh, it was all of them, right? Are you like trying to dunk on the fact that she lost? Like, wow, like you're happy she lost? That's what it seemed like. But you can dispel that, right?
No, my name isn't Jen Kuber.
Why did you? Wait, no, but
this is the content I subscribe to the second channel for snack markets.
Why did you do that there, right there? You were like, all of them, right? All of them?
Because
like you're trying to twist the knife? Why are you trying to twist the knife? I'm asking, are you trying to twist the knife when you do that?
Because there's also an absolute refusal to learn any fucking lessons from this whatsoever and blindly, reflexively defend people that didn't want to win.
Okay. Can I jump?
She left. She absolutely explicitly left votes on the table. And the real bitch of this is I actually brought like a full 2 pages of fucking notes, clips. I got shit that I was going to use to make my fucking case.
Those analyses.
I thought there was going to be something fucking substantive that was going to happen.
I had a conversation. I had a conversation with Prime about this stuff, and those analyses, they only do like one part of it, which is like how many votes you would have gained. But you don't do the calculation of how many votes you would have lost, and that's what's so insane about this entire thing. You know,
but any that's kind my of point. You guys, listen. This is actually, to me, this is actually really important. There's an element here that you guys, in Hutch specifically, which the whole point of this was like Vadim and Ogreboy confront Hutch. There's a whole cross-section of this information that you guys never present to your audience whatsoever. There's a half of this story that's completely missing, and then maybe they could come to the conclusion.
This is bullshit, Ogre, because you know I get a lot of shit because I am someone who thinks that like we shouldn't be doing this kind of like pivot to mansion or whatever the fuck it is. I get a lot of shit for that kind of stuff. And when I say I don't think lefties cost them Kamala the election, I'm basically saying that by and large, the left came through for Kamala. That's my empirical conclusion based on the data that we have available. What you're suggesting is the left did cost Kamala the election. That is what you are suggesting.
Right?
No. So I'll ask you now. Did the left cost Kamala the election?
No.
What? Why not?
That's your missing
virtue of
point.
what?
In virtue of what? The whole
virtue
point
was
of the
not
loss in the swing states. It was the loss of the normies, the ones that don't pay attention to politics the way that we fucking do.
They cared about Kamala's position. So the ones who are not read in on Israel-Palestine,
those are the ones
she lost.
Off of the bare minimum information that they have the ability to even pull their heads up from their lives and take a look out on a daily basis.
And they knew enough to know that Kamala.
And then when Kamala has the opportunity to go on a national stage and say what the fuck she's going to do different, including Gaza, was basically she's not going to separate herself, which she also fucking lied about during her book tour.
You're suggesting that the least informed among us,
guys, she could have just fucking lied. Politicians do it all the time. She could have just lied, and
she had her people.
And
say what? And say what?
And say that she was going to implement an arms embargo or force a ceasefire. She could.
All right. What's the question, Vadim?
Wait, but then the issue. Hold on. But then the issue is that like now if she did say that, you would then say that she lied, right? These people are never satisfied. It's that they ought to do it, and then if they do it, then it's not enough. And even if it is enough, oh, they're lying, right? It's the flowchart.
First of all, I mean, that's not going to be. People are going to be upset that she lied or whatever.
I don't want her to lie, but I'm just saying to like.
Imagine she said this. Imagine she says this. I believe that there should be an arms embargo on Israel.
Yeah.
What do you think is the problem with the sitting vice president coming out and saying that?
I don't know, but it was the right thing for her to do.
It undercuts Biden in the course of the negotiations that they're actually having, where he was actually trying to.
Does anybody know what was going on with Pisco's chat during this? No
push
idea.
for a ceasefire near the end.
Yeah, and that
his vice president over there talking genocide, talking arms embargo, talking all that stuff. These are sensitive international conversations. Just so you're aware.
People wanted there to be they were getting sick as fuck as Biden, and so they wanted a departure.
And number two, I just want to finish. And number two, she looks weak. It'll make her look weak. So I'm not saying that I don't agree with the policy.
Flowchart, Hutch stocks rising. I still don't think the flowchart is intuitive as a term, okay? Can you just use like dem snarker? It's just so much easier and it's easily understandable. Just call them dem snarkers. What was your first console game? Oh, I think it might be first console. I never owned a console, but I played addictinggames.com and armorgames.com. I play a lot of Flash games, but I don't remember which Flash game I played first.
I don't think that we should be. I don't think we should be giving funds to Israel. But the political. No. It makes her look weak. It makes her look weak.
It does not make her look weak.
Okay.
There's nothing strong about capitulating to like your boss. Just asserting yourself and doing something different, which the whole country wanted her to do, would have protected strength.
I mean, I played Commando 2, and I played Kingdom Rush, and I played Singed, and I played Sunny and Sunny 2, and I played all the classic Flash games. I played Electric Man 2. Come on.
Can I agree with you, Vadim, and just say briefly, I agree with you that Kamala did not do a good enough job separating herself from Biden and showing how she would be different. I don't think it would have mattered on the issue of Gaza. I think it had way more to do with inflation and what she would do for this country to make
not Sony 2, okay? Not Sony 2, Sunny 2, all right?
people's lives better.
Oh, I also like Steambirds. Yeah, Steambirds. I also really enjoyed Steambirds.
Well, hold on.
Okay, well,
to be fair, can I play off that for just a moment?
That's a throwback?
So, first of all, no, that wasn't the singular thing, but it would have been an indicator that she was
not even a real gamer. Actually, on the contrary, I wouldn't even classify you as a real gamer unless you played Flash games, because your parents did not want to buy you any console games, okay? We had to survive out there. We had to find ways, all right?
willing to start branching off in a different direction or a slightly different direction from Biden. That you're correct in that. It wasn't the only thing, but there would have been enough there to, I think, especially if it had happened earlier, that could have gotten a lot more grassroots attention and pushed her campaign farther than what it...
Just so.
Double question, double hyperthoughts 3.
You remember Airy Flat? No.
Yes, just so.
Play Sif Tabs?
Double question, double hyperthoughts 3.
Hey, thank you so much, Misaki, for the 10 Australian. What other games did I play? Oh, I played Gemcraft. You guys remember Gemcraft?
It had. And I still, like I said...
Okay.
Oh, do you guys remember Age of War? Come on, guys. Come on. They don't make them like that anymore. You know that.
Why are we even fucking, can I ask, why are we even talking about this? This is a deflection because the difference is we are willing to acknowledge that there were mistakes. Let me finish. We were willing to acknowledge, and Harris herself is willing to acknowledge there were mistakes in the campaign. What you guys crucially are unable to acknowledge is that every voter who stayed home because of Gaza did a disservice to this country and should be ashamed of themselves, including you, Ogre.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Pisco. Yes. Oh my God, Pisco. More, baby, more.
You tried to slide and say, well, I told other people to vote. You did not vote for Harris. And so you have to reconcile with your own shame, which you have not done. You should have shame. You should have shame. You should have shame.
Because she also, the other half I was going to say to IRI's point was that she lied about knowing the importance of...
Pisco's on some shit today. All right? He's on some shit today, okay?
Separating herself. Okay. After the election, her people went on Pod Save America and said that they knew they needed to, but they didn't know a way. She goes on her book tour in front of the fucking View and says, I didn't understand that it was that important to even do it. All of this, so much of this shit is fucking cope. It's insane.
Okay. We have had so many conversations on this podcast about how Kamala Harris could have run a better campaign. To my knowledge, liberals do not shy away from these kinds of conversations. They happen all the time. So that's fine. We can dive into that topic if we want to. I want to dive into something different. I want to respond to something.
Yeah, but the difference is that liberals do it because they want to improve the Democratic Party, right? But the issue is that these two they're fakers, okay? They're grifters, all right? They treat politics like a game. Yeah, Hutch is right.
Specifically that Vadim said. You said, or implied, right? And tell me if I got you wrong, that Kamala had a moral imperative is the word that you used. A moral imperative to do everything she could to get out the vote to beat Trump, right? You said that. You just said that.
I said that she had a moral imperative to. I actually didn't say moral imperative in relation to her, but
yes, you did.
No, I didn't. But I'll go ahead and kind of say that I think she did. Yes, I think that any candidate should have a moral imperative to.
Okay, all right. So she had a moral imperative, right?
Get our funding out of a fucking genocide. Yes.
No. I'm saying she had a moral imperitive to do everything she could to beat Donald Trump. Do you agree with that?
And so,
by doing the arms embargo,
yes, she would have.
I understand that. You keep going to that topic. I'm just asking you in generalities.
Yes, he said yes. The moral imperative that performing this action would have won her the election. I believe that, and I can explain why.
No, I'm past. Okay, listen. Why did she have a moral imperative to beat Donald Trump? Specifically, Donald Trump.
I don't know where you're going with this. This is like
Because it would be better for Gaza, you absolute fucking inbred moron. You absolute fucking disgusting pig. You absolute fucking grifter, barely human. Dude, because it would be better for Gaza. What is the point of doing anything? If you ever care about Gaza, if you ever care about the fucking genocide, you know where he's going. Yeah, no, he knows. He knows where Hutch is going with this. He knows where Hutch is going with this, okay? These people follow Hutch around, like, incessantly, like a fucking obsessed lunatic. Oh my god! Oh my god! Politics, it's so fake. It's
walk with me.
It's so fake.
You're
so fake.
In this moment, you're kind of acting as though.
Why won't you answer my question, bro? Come on. What are you doing here? I'm just asking a simple question. Why did she? Why did?
Like fucking mind games, and you're not accepting the simple fact that.
Okay, let me jump to the point. I just spare me, please. I just want to get. I've been very patient. You guys have been speaking. You're not engaging with me in good faith. I'm asking you good faith questions.
Just let him go.
You're not engaging with my questions. You don't want to do it. Fine. I'll just arrive at the point. You did say that she had a moral imperative to do everything that she could to beat Donald Trump. Yes. I agree. I think the reason why she had a moral imperative was because Donald Trump is uniquely dangerous, and him ascending to the office of the presidency was inevitably going to lead to mass suffering. Okay. What I put to you right now is that it's not, the moral imperative does not just rest with politicians. We are a democracy. We have a vote. And people with positions of influence, like politicians or even influencers, they also have a
voters.
They also have a moral imperative if they care about these issues.
Hell yeah. Oh my God. Hutch is my ninja. Okay. I almost said it.
And can see Trump for what he is, to do everything that they could to prevent that from happening. I put that same moral. You only want to talk about the moral imperative of Kamala Harris, and you don't want to put any responsibility on people that are in a democracy and have a vote and have a say. The second point that I want to make, shut up, bro.
Wait.
Talking. Stop.
Dude,
wait. I gotta be both of you, because this is what was going to happen. You're talking about each other. Hutch, your analogy of the thing of they're not helping build the wall, right? Wait, Hutch, please, Hutch. I want you to listen to me, please, Hutch. The idea that tell me if this is wrong, Vadim and Ogreboy, is that they're saying, hey, you need to build this wall out of concrete, and you stack. If I help,
okay, never mind. Ogreboy just laughed. I can't laugh anymore.
You stack up mud, it's not going to matter. And then they didn't build it out of concrete, and then the fucking ocean destroyed the village or whatever, right?
Person.
So can you engage with they think this is the only thing that would have won the election? I don't agree with this, but you're talking past both of them.
I don't need you to translate for them and be like an intermediary, okay? He's a big boy. He's an adult. He's a grown-up, okay?
Are the people
you say that I was responsible. Going back to what you just said, you say that I was responsible.
Soy Pill, just please, for the love of God, okay? Let them falter, all right? Soy Pill, you don't have to defend your own side like this, okay? You don't have to defend your own side like this. All right,
responsible for Israel's genocide because hang on, you said that I was partly responsible for Israel's genocide because I talked about the issue on my stream and expressed skepticism about particular language. You think that I am complicit in genocide? You said directly. You said I am directly complicit in genocide, but you don't think Rashida Tlaib was directly complicit in Donald Trump winning because she refused to endorse? What is that logic? How does that make any sense, bro?
And he has made too many points for me to effectively hit. Okay,
go ahead. Is the idea supposed to be that as long as the party?
Shut the fuck up, dude!
I made 2 points. How can you not keep that in your mind? I understand if you're tired. I made 2 points, bro. How do you not keep that in your mind?
Ogreboy, go ahead.
Is the idea supposed to be that if the party just waits out the person that's wanting the concession, that they can go ahead and do?
No, that's not the point.
Anyway?
No, that's not the point. The point is on Vadim's view. If it's the case that Hutch is morally responsible for a genocide, that on that same view, right? Someone like, for example, Rashida Tlaib, or for example, Zoran Mamdani. By the way, I don't even grant this view. But if that is your view, by your own logic, they're responsible for Trump in some sense. And I even see you guys claiming responsibility in a causal sense, given that you think that it was a but-for sort of condition to her losing. And so that's the point. The point is an inconsistent standard that you only apply to Hutch for the genocide.
Guys,
that's wild.
No. I need to explain what I am saying, that because I don't really if I'm going to really play the blame game, I'm going to be talking about the shit that both Biden and Kamala did primarily. But if we are going to do some sort of hierarchy of blame, then absolutely I am going to blame people like Hutch, who never took the idea that there even was a genocide seriously in the first place, ignored the statements of so many human rights organizations.
So it was the left's fault then, right?
And historians.
So it was the left's fault then, right? That's what you're saying?
If she would have rescinded her lack
it is you more than anybody else inside that situation.
But the left could have prevented Trump from winning, but they didn't because of the genocide. That's what you're saying, right?
No. What I'm saying is that if the wishes of okay, I need to kind of like chill.
Take a break.
To kind of
take a breath
properly.
Maybe take a walk. Ask Ogreboy, jump in.
Can I just say,
he's struggling.
Can I just say, while you gather your thoughts, there's nothing Kamala could have said or done that would have been sufficient. The goalposts are on wheels.
True.
No, it doesn't matter what she said. It doesn't matter what she said. She could have said it's a genocide. To hell with Israel. I'm going to wipe them off the map if I get in there. It would have never, ever been good enough.
Did you
Let's
watch
not
Biden's
kid
farewell
ourselves.
tour?
Come on.
Did you watch Biden's farewell tour?
What does that? Yeah, some of it. Why?
One of his final comments when he talked about the secret to his success was saying that sometimes you have to know like the thing that's worth losing for. Like there's always going to be something that it's like, well, we can't do that because we might lose. Well, they lost anyway and still didn't do the thing that was probably worth standing on the right side.
We don't grant that. We don't grant that. But what we're examining right now is the culpability, the relative culpabilities. And by this logic, I think you guys have to grant that Bernie Sanders is culpable for genocide because he didn't call it a genocide until September 2025.
He's also
So I'm just going to ask the question. So I'm just going to ask the question on the view that Hutch is culpable for the genocide. Bernie Sanders is correct.
No. This is where I disagree from Vadim, but I think his mentality is very indicative of
he can speak for himself,
why we're fucked as a country.
Wait, Vadim, do you think it's bad that Ogreboy has a genocide enabler poster behind him?
It's bad, yeah. I mean, he's an enabler of genocide.
His refusal to use a specific piece of language, to be certain, he is still farther into the correct category of withholding arms to Israel, speaking out about what's happening over there, and he finally got on a page that not even Hutch is willing to get on. So
I think that if you are willing to use dead Palestinians in a political debate in the cynical way that you guys do, I question if you actually give a fuck about those people, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I just think that this is like,
I don't think you actually care about them.
This is just manipulation, dude. You're the one.
I don't think you care about them. I think you use them as pawns in political debates.
Wait, let him respond.
No, hang on. These two constantly accused me of being complicit in a genocide. It is a disgusting smear. I spent my stream talking about how Israel was very likely committing international war crimes with respect to proportionality. I never co-signed the total blanket bombing campaign that they embarked on.
Yeah, but more importantly,
people like you, people like Vadim,
ever do to separate ourselves from
people
it,
like Vadim, get on there and then smear me and lie and accuse me of supporting genocide. You couldn't possibly do that if you actually gave a fuck about this.
You do not have to.
They are pawns in your political fight. It's virtue signaling nonsense.
Here's a political fight and ending weapons support.
You do not.
Where is this Hutch? Where is this Hutch when it comes to the moderates? Where is this Hutch when it comes to the moderates? That's my question. All right, I'm more than happy. I'm more than happy with this Hutch right now. Okay, but I wish Hutch was like this with the moderates.
His virtue signaling, it's nonsense.
I know, but let him respond to that though.
Yeah, who said this, Hutch? You do not have to make absurd comparisons to Dachau in order to make the case that Palestinians in Gaza are suffering. Regardless, if Biden was actually wanting to genocide that population, he's currently doing a really terrible job of it.
I was speaking to the death count compared to the birth rate. If we're talking about the proposition that Israel was trying to exterminate Palestinians entirely from Gaza, then they were. That's going to take a pretty long time at the current rate. Was my point.
Okay.
And it is absurd to compare it to Dachau. Yes, it's absurd.
You know what? This is actually. I'm glad that we're at this moment.
Yeah, we got to the point where you get to moralize and virtue signal like you actually give a fuck about these people.
Very important thing to bring up here. Okay, so I came out came here to have this conversation. I'm not monetizing this. I'm not even streaming it. I went out of my way to do this, and I would like you. As a gesture of
I told you he was going to do this, so
yes, of course I am.
I told you.
You watched Chris Kunzler and Overzealot's.
Are you doing like a tag team thing?
And what's that? Are
you doing like a tag team thing?
I am.
No, he thinks you're going to like Sam Cedar him.
He is. That's I told you he was going to do this.
Oh,
I told you. I told you he was going to do this. I don't know this person. I don't know this person. If they want to talk on like a Discord, a call or something, that's fine. I fucking told you.
Wait, did Vadim run? Did Vadim run?
He's going to do this. We don't.
Oh, never mind. He didn't run.
I told you. I told you he was going to do this. I don't know this person.
So cringe.
I don't know this person. If they want to talk on like a Discord, a call or something, that's fine. I fucking told you he was going to do this. He's such a silly person.
Wait. You guys kicked me out? What the hell?
No. It looked like you just left.
So of course I'm going to do this. Of course I'm going to do this. You watched their podcast. You strawman them. You said all sorts of bullshit facts. And no, you did. And in order to continue having this conversation that we're having right now.
Get to the point. You can say it in like 5 words, man.
Will you or won't you have a conversation with Chris Kunzler, who you have talked about, who you have strawmanned?
I don't remember. Who is this person?
He's the
You watched
Vadim,
the
Vadim on what though?
No
On what?
Politic Here. He's the co-host of the No
Vadim.
Politic Here podcast, and you watch.
Is this what you do? Is this what you do?
Israel?
And he asked you.
Vadim,
He
is
asked
this what
you.
do you go on debates and then say, "Oh, here's my
Bro,
friend"?
You are coping.
This is
so
what you
hard
do.
right now. Why are
That's
you
literally
afraid?
what you're doing.
But-
I
wait,
don't
Vadim,
know
Vadim,
this
Vadim,
person.
Vadim.
What am I supposed to be afraid of, bro?
What are you
I have no
proposing,
idea.
Vadim?
You pussy.
Vadim, what are you proposing?
Who is
Proposing a
this person?
You're proposing a conversation between this person and Hutch on Israel and whether it's a genocide. Is that the conversation you want to propose?
I
God.
would like a conversation both on whatever Kunzler would like to talk
Why
about.
don't you show up to debates?
Why don't you debate? Why don't you? Can you stop hiding behind people? Like, please. Can you please stop hiding behind people? It's so pathetic. It's so pathetic. Come on now. You're better than this, right? Put your big boy socks on.
Prepared to debate. Why do you always have to tag people in? What is this? No, you didn't. You deflected to some guy who wrote propaganda, and you asked Ogreboy to jump in when you feel overwhelmed, and now you're doing this weird thing that I said you were going to do.
This is so embarrassing. Just you're not going to do
For
it.
me?
You're not gonna do it. You're
All
a
right.
pussy. You're a pussy.
Wait. Is it the conversation about whatever he wants to have a conversation about? I don't understand how.
I think it would one be over the clip that Hutch watched, which he.
I'll tell you what. I will debate. I will have a conversation with this person. I will have a conversation with this person if you agree to go on H3H3's podcast.
Absolutely, sure.
Okay.
But I
Tell him to reach out to me. When you do that, I'll have a conversation with this person.
Okay. I am going to be working on a.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with what we're talking about? None of this has anything to do with what we're talking about. I thought what we were talking about.
I don't care.
Okay.
No. The reason why it has something to do with what we're talking about is because he started making certain talking about things having to do with Gaza and the genocide and whatnot that I know that Chris Kunzler would be so much more capable.
Why? Why are you the most incapable person then? Why do you define yourself to be the most incapable person? You realize you're the one calling yourself a retard, right? You realize you're the one saying that you are incapable of anything, right? You're the one who is making yourself out to be so fucking pathetic. There's no like, you're the retard. Stop relying on other people, okay? It's so gay.
Of handling. And
He's accused you of.
Like, you want mommy and daddy to debate for you? Like, damn, dude. And how about you just, like, hide at home, under the bed, under the blanket, where you know you're safe? Why even go out at all?
Not caring about it. He said, this is just a virtue signal. You don't really care about the lives of the Palestinians. I'm interested in your response to that.
I mean, I don't really think that it's like it's sort of like when Hutch was watching JD Vance interviewed about like he was talking about fucking Hassan and the Collargate thing. Hutch said the most absurd fucking thing. One, he did not hold JD Vance in like.
What does this have to do with?
I'm lost. Wait, the Collargate stuff. I just want. Can you repeat that again? Sorry, I'm genuinely lost. What is the Collargate and JD Vance? I missed it.
I'm saying that, like, in that situation where he was watching JD Vance talk about Collargate, JD Vance said, like, the most ridiculous things about it. He said, like, this is the type of thing that serial killers do. And Hutch's reaction there was like, why didn't you address his points? And the reason for that is that, like, why you shouldn't is because they're just bad faith arguments. They're bullshit. Sometimes you don't want.
So you're going to come on the podcast and not engage in the stuff that I asked you?
Wait, Hutch, did you say serial killers use the electro collars?
I probably said some bullshit. I don't know.
JD Vance said that.
JD Vance said that. Well, what does this have to do with anything, Vadim?
Nothing. Nothing. It has nothing to do with anything.
Because that was a situation in which he thought that Hassan should be obligated to speak to a manipulative like tactic, and I feel the same way here. I just I don't feel like I have to prove that I care about Palestine.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. I would prefer us not to have the conversation about genuineness, but like I would rather just get to the issue. It just does feel like it's an inconsistent standard to like blame Hutch substantively for genocide.
What I'm saying is not that that I would never go out of my way.
Is Vadim eating right now?
To blame him, but if I'm going to create some sort of hierarchy of blame,
I get more blame for the genocide than Rashida Tlaib gets for Kamala losing?
Yes, because of the fact that you manufactured consent, that you
oh my God,
you contributed to a culture that did not take it seriously.
Really?
On that view, you're responsible for election too, right? I mean, on that view, you guys manufactured a consent for a situation which you think is directly related to the reason that Kamala lost the election, the reason we're in this place.
When you're telling people to still go vote for Kamala anyway.
Wait a second.
Ogreboy,
That's not what happened.
Would you vote for Kamala if you could do it after 1 year of Trump and what you've seen?
Don't take it back now.
Oh, come on. The fact that it even takes you this long to even answer that question is so silly. Like, what are you talking? Oh my God. You're really telling me that you would rather Trump to be president? Really? Right now? Like, if you had a choice to vote in Kamala, you would rather Trump be? Oh my God. I hate these people.
You already said you changed your mind.
Well, I appreciate if you take I appreciate if you take it back. I mean, I think that's good. Like I want to make sure that there's like a common understanding.
I meant like he told me that you convinced him that he should have voted for Kamala, and now he's like hesitating because he's afraid of getting gotcha. I don't know what it is.
Wait, hold on. Say that again, because you got cut off.
Now that you've seen 1 year of Trump,
Shut up. Hutch specifically, what the fuck did you just say?
You told me that Pisco convinced you that you should have voted for Kamala. And then IRI asked you, should you have voted for Kamala, or do you wish you would have? And now you're like hesitating. Why?
No, I said yes after 1 year, sure. Yeah.
So,
no, he's hesitating because, I think he's hesitating because like we're all...
Why after 1 year? What the fuck?
All of us are like attacking them. So I mean, I understand. I just think you should own it. I think you should just own it, Ogreboy. And I think that's fine to do.
But that's not the argument. That's not the argument.
What do you mean?
There's this overwhelming urge to try to put it off on anybody but the fucking candidate. Everybody else has.
But the whole point is,
oh my God, mute the fuck out of me into oblivion, or I'm going to finish my fucking statement.
All right, finish. Sorry.
This constant thing, and especially this was one of the, like, I don't have a big interest, believe it or not, and everybody across the internet and lib circles is about to scoff. I don't have some big desire to necessarily defend Hassan when it comes to the specific argument that you, Soy Pill, tried to make a couple of weeks ago. This notion that like he should be doing everything in his power to get her elected, when my argument is, and on another night, maybe with somebody else, I could maybe have this conversation, is that she didn't do everything in her power to get fucking elected. That is always going to be my point. And the thing I want to see is a fucking Democrat that's actually going to try to do everything in their power to get fucking elected.
Ogreboy, I'm the most on your side of being able to steelman your argument that you think that if she had done this, she would have got more votes. But Hassan is completely aware. He's a big boy and can say, hey, she's not going to change. It's 2 days before the election. I should tell...
We need a SKRT noise for whenever Vadim dodges a question.
Okay. Hey, yes, please. Thank you so much for the $5.
We need a SKRT noise for whenever Vadim dodges a question.
Ooh, thank you. Where's my soundboard? How?
The people are retarded.
Close enough. Bro, it's so stupid.
Millions of people to go
vote
for it.
But at that point, what good does that do? At that point, what the fuck does that do?
What good does it do? It gets them to fucking vote for her. What do you mean?
Wait, which one is this one?
He died like a dog.
Damn, dude.
After that much time, hold on, no.
Yes.
After that much time of watching the candidate, after that much time of watching the candidate not respond to things that everybody else can see with their fucking eyes if they're being good faith, then suddenly they're just going to go, fuck it, let's do it anyway, after that they've been ignored on so many different options?
That's not okay. Ogre, you understand that's not a good thing to say.
If you really think that Hassan not telling his people to go vote for Kamala would not have done anything, then I guess why even bother listening to him about anything? For over a fucking year,
he said that Trump was going to be worse. He educated his audience about the fucking the effects of the Abraham Accords. He pointed out what was in 2025 in regards...
This
what
is
the
not
fuck
enough.
do you mean it's not enough?
Yeah, it's like, all right,
I can't even get this. He did more to educate about the dangers of Trump than your fucking bald ass did.
You got to take your hat off. Take your hat off. Take your hat off. Take his hat. Tell him to take his hat off, or he gets kicked off the call.
Hold on.
Take your hat off.
Let's not do it. Hang on.
No. Come on. Take your hat off, bro. Take it off. Take it off, bro.
Call Hutch bald. I think you have to take the hat off.
Take the hat off.
No, I'm good.
Wow.
Oh my God. These guys are the worst, bro. These guys are the worst. Oh my God. These guys are actually the most cowardly individuals. Oh my God. How much did they have to pay them in order to put their cams on? Oh my God. Dude. Oh my God. Oh my God. They're so cringe.
I don't hate your audience.
Let's not do this. Let's put the bullshit aside. Like, listen. I think that the question is like...
No, we should do it. Why not? We should do it. Fuck it. Fuck these guys. Why? Fuck it. Let's do it.
Is there blame for the candidate? Absolutely. Everyone has their pet critique of Kamala. We've had it. We've had entire conversations about it. Is there blame for people who did not support the candidate? There has to be, right? Of course there is. How can there not be? And we just want to see a consistent approach. And so I don't think that the left cost Kamala the election. That's my view based on the data. I don't think that I'm not convinced that it was this withholding a vote. I think it has to do with what IRI said. It's people perception of Biden's age. It's the prices. It's the fucking economy, stupid. It's that kind of shit. All right. That's my view. But the anger comes when certain people try to like moralize and talk down who never ever signaled that they were going to vote for Kamala or said that they ought to vote for Kamala. That gets people upset.
I think it comes down to. I think it comes down to.
You're vote shaming. That's
Shiny. Hold on. Let's Shiny.
Yeah. Wait. Isn't vote shaming good? Vote shaming is good. No.
Wait, no, that would be fine. Wait, that's fine. We're vote shaming. Yeah, we're vote shaming. But what's wrong with vote shaming? If you voted for Trump, like we would vote shame, right?
Yeah, but in a situation in which people are actively doing something that, I mean, like, again, if they had actually responded in this way, she would have won. I can explain why I think that. It's not because of the fact that I think that like that issue alone necessarily would have like enthused everybody to go to the polls, but it's like I said before, they wanted to see some like huge assertion of her individuality to separate herself from fucking Biden, and doing something that like that one would have like created a lot more
we agreed with this already. This whole podcast agrees that she could have done better.
You would have had lots of people who are influencers who would be like genuinely excited rather than like saying like, oh, you know, like I know things suck right now, and
what does it matter? What does it matter if influencers?
Please. Instead of that, they
don't need to. Oh my God, they're so embarrassing. They're so embarrassing. These can't be your goat, okay, guys? Anybody who is like, these people cannot be your goats, okay? I'm gonna just say this right now. These people cannot be your goats, all right? These people are the wrong people to have as your goats, okay? These people, dude, they are babies, all right? They're actually children. These people are... You want to tell me that you want to glorify children as your political commentators? They're children. I'm 26. Both of these guys are probably older than I am, okay? Probably way older than I am.
Use that tone. You don't need to go pretty please. All you you can very simply just accurately. No. I've never asked for that. No. All I ask is that people tell the truth, Vadim. Just tell the truth. Donald Trump is uniquely
he did that.
Vadim is Donald
Rashida Tlaib did that.
Vadim is Donald Trump. Let's go down this thread one more time here.
Insistence that he didn't is bullshit.
I did let you speak. Let's go down this thread again. Let's go down this thread again. Is Donald Trump a fascist, and is MAGA a nascent, emergent fascist movement in this country?
Absolutely, which is why she had an imperative.
All right. You made your point. Let me try to make my point, okay? What does that word mean to you? So, like, what is the threat of fascism in America? What's the worst that could play out?
This is just going to end the same way that it always does.
Why don't you just answer my questions, bro? All right, forget it.
It's fine.
We can move past. It's fine.
And we knew the way to avoid it.
I'm done.
What would it take? Can I ask a question then? What would it take for y'all to regret the posture here, or what would it take for y'all to be on our side? Like, if it were the case that Trump, for example, as he's planning to do, starts a full blown, or at least
Pisco, why ask questions when you already know the answer? Pisco, come on. Why ask questions when you already know the answer?
Some people say he's planning to do a full-scale war with Iran. If Trump, for example, really is able to institute an authoritarian state fully, such that there's no more elections, at what point, what amount of bad would it take for you to be like, maybe this...
What am I supposed to have done different?
Is there any
ridiculous other than what I've already admitted to?
How is this a ridiculous question?
All right, wait. So
how is this a ridiculous question?
It's a ridiculous question because I obviously do not. I don't. It kind of presupposes that
people have a responsibility.
In a way that I'm not.
It presupposes that people have a responsibility to do everything in their power to stop fascists from winning.
Yeah,
because if you understand the word fascism,
what they did,
if you understand what the word fascism means and what the historical examples of it wrought upon this planet, then you would have to agree that people do have an individual responsibility to do everything in their power to try to prevent that from happening.
And you
undercut the label of fascism. I don't think you actually believe he's a fascist, because if you did, you would do anything to stop him from winning, right?
You will not accept that I believe that by holding out for concessions, they were actually actively doing something.
Donald Trump won. Great.
As important as voting.
And Donald Trump won. Great.
Yeah. That happens sometimes when you hold out.
That happens sometimes. Fascism happens sometimes.
Wait.
Hold on. Fascism happens sometimes. Is this like a normal thing that just happens sometimes?
No. Fascism.
This was extraordinary. So this was extraordinary, right?
Because morons like yourself did not take.
Mons, take his balls.
The fact that we were engaging in a genocide seriously, you still to this day
take his balls.
Don't take it seriously.
Another pathetic deflection.
You, my friend.
That's why I say you don't care about these people. They're an ornament to you.
to
their dead bodies are an ornament to you.
We are in.
Mods, turn him into a eunuch.
You contributed far more to the position that we are in than those who like.
But no one's disagreeing that we can't hold our politicians' feet to the fire and say, hey, you guys really need to change up on that. Like, let's say you were right. Let's say Gaza would have won the election. We can say, hey, I can see the wave coming. You guys have to acknowledge this, or you're not going to win. But you got to understand that we can criticize these things and also say. Okay,
but
go ahead.
There's a difference when you spend 24/7 with a scope purely on Twitter leftists versus pointing out the failures of the.
No, he's talking about me right now. The difference here is we have talked at great length on this podcast and me on my own stream about all the myriad ways that I think Kamala Harris could have done a better job in that campaign.
Podcast.
That's the difference. No, it goes way beyond that.
That's bad faith encapsulation.
Then he can correct. Then let Hutch correct me. He's a big boy.
We have gone down this road many times. Okay, the difference between you and me is like I'm willing to have that conversation about Kamala. Anytime I talk about individual responsibility on the part of politicians like Rashida Tlaib or influencers like Hassan Piker, you guys want to deflect the conversation. Yes, you want to deflect the conversation to Kamala, and you don't want to engage in that. In your minds, they have no responsibility, even though in your own words, we face a fascist threat.
He was doing a responsible thing by taking the tactic that he did. That
was responsible. That was responsible.
From here, I've said this a million times. We're just going in circles, and you guys are trying to like.
You think, but just to clarify, you think
Ogreboy right now, his life is like flashing before his eyes, bro. He is so traumatized. He's like that one picture of like the, oh my god, he's like that one guy. He's the one guy. He's like the one guy before after. Oh my god. Okay, who wore it better? Who wore it better? Ogreboy or this guy from World War I? Oh my god, he's going through it right now. Okay.
More
just to clarify,
him a lot today, and
you are so fucking pathetic, bro. You are so pathetic. This is so pathetic. Come on, bro. What am I? Baby him. Every time you get overwhelmed, you deflect somebody else. It is the saddest thing I have ever seen in all of my years covering politics.
Can you go like 5 minutes without trying to bait?
I'm not baiting anything, bro. I'm not baiting anything. If you tell me that we face a fascist threat, it is totally incoherent.
You're a coward. You can't
even. Great. Yes.
You cannot eat.
Yes. I get it. Okay.
Wait. He just agreed. No, wait. He agreed to talk to him, conditioned on you doing the thing with Ethan.
All right. That's fine. That's fine.
But you act as though he's unwilling. He gave you the condition, and you said that was okay, and you guys agreed to it. So you're going back to it.
You're right. Okay. I rescind the. Okay, but let me ask one more question.
I mean, I was making a point, and then you just decided to interject.
Recently, you made another video about Collargate, and you and I had a back and forth where you said that I was insane for thinking that Hassan did not, in fact, shock. So I want to ask you, what happened literally 3 minutes after the point that you say that he shocked Kaya? What happened?
I don't know.
Kaya got up and walked out of the fucking room.
What?
And?
That's crazy.
And
that changes everything. Never mind. I take it back. He didn't tape up the back of his collar.
I'm sorry. Do you really think that he would?
That's a smoking gun, bro. You got it.
And then just let her go the next. It makes no sense.
Sure. Why? No, wait. Come on. You know the response to that. You know the response to that, Vadim, which is regardless of whether or not you think it's responsible to shock or buzz or whatever it is he did.
How do you defend the Kaya stuff? How do we get to the Kaya stuff? Who cares? You know what? We should talk about it. Actually, we should talk about it because it's so stupid. Why would you defend this?
No, he didn't do it.
The reason. So there are multiple reasons why he might not, in virtue of the of her walking off and letting her go off. One is because he realized that he had already done it in a very obvious way and didn't want to attract more attention to it. Another is he didn't realize that he was walking off. There are multiple plausible reasons, but you have to contend, I think, with the video evidence.
Bro, are you like seriously, Pisco? Are you just
seriously, Pisco? Seriously? Why are you just like not having my back right now? They told me that you were on our side. Why, Pisco? Seriously?
Like trying to
No, listen, I haven't made a single video about Collargate. No, stop, this is crazy.
Are you knowingly lawyering me right now?
No.
I don't believe you actually believe
this. No, you can't accuse me. So listen,
you're backing up your boy.
Are you serious?
No. You don't watch the podcast if you think
this is such horseshit. My very last stream, I was calling out people for, I think, misstating what Hassan said in a podcast with Ethan and about settler babies or whatever, and I still hold to that. I want to want to be clear about that. And so any idea, notion that I'm doing this to curry favor with Hutch is so laughable. If you look at the communities and how much conversations we have, and all I'm talking about here is
Hutch is your boy, though, right? Hutch is your boy.
No, yeah, he's my
boy.
boy.
Answer now. Hutch is your boy.
Then
He is my boy.
rare L for you, where you're just like completely not seeing the forest for the trees. It's like it's just like, I mean, is it within the realm of possibility that it? But it's just no. It's very.
I can't believe it. Why would you ever defend this?
Take lessons with it? Doesn't he do this for why are you granting that it would be a bad thing if he buzzed him? Like, I don't even understand. Like, what is the problem if he's taking lessons to do this kind of training, which I think he's admitted he did? What would be wrong with that? Why would you say that, oh, he didn't do it in this instance, especially when it looks like he did?
Well, it is terrible reasoning, just because all that we saw was he just like reached over for a second at the same exact moment that
Vadim having a good take, mission impossible.
You're right. His name is Vadim now. Okay, based.
She happened to move around.
Let me ask you a question.
There's all sorts of fucking things.
Okay, let me ask you.
People reach out.
Why would Vadim be like this?
Let me ask you a question. I'm so serious right now, because I have a theory that a lot of the people that were backing up Hassan kind of went out of their way to not look at some of the other videos that were uncovered. Are you aware that there's like a supercut video where there's like, it's like a Brady bunch, like 9 different boxes of other instances of Hassan like reaching for something, and then Kyle like getting back on the mat? Have you seen this? Yeah. So like, you don't find that at all like a little bit suspicious?
When you have like a billion DGGers rifling through or searching through every hour,
but you're dodging the point. You don't
looking specifically for those things. You're gonna find
what, dude? What are you talking about anymore? What are you even saying, dude? I don't. Okay.
Lots of moments where that just happens to happen in like fucking.
Can somebody help me find that video and we can put it up? Actually, can somebody help me find it? There's a video where it's like a bunch of
we don't have. You know what we don't have? Curiously, we don't have any other situations where Kaya is yelping like she did that one time. Why doesn't she yelp any?
Can you guys help me find the video? Stream chat. There's a video with like a super.
Does she have to yelp like in order to indicate that she's feeling pain? Guys, okay, Vadim's basement needs to be checked, okay? This guy has a lot of dead dogs, okay? 100% police raid his basement because this guy has a bunch of dead dogs in his basement, okay? 100%.
Wait, Vadim, what do you think happened? I mean, you don't doubt that he has a collar, which would make that possible, right? And
look, why is there electrical tape on the collar, Vadim?
You guys are
Oh God, we are talking about DGG now. Vadim is just brain broken.
Vadim?
I'm a guy. Oh God, we are talking about DGG now. Vadim is just brain broken.
You mean Diddy G? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for the 5. You guys are very kind. You guys are donating a lot of money. Hopefully you guys are not going broke, okay? But thank you. I do appreciate it, okay? I do.
Just kind of going to something else. I'm talking about this.
You brought up collar day, bro.
You did. You brought it up.
But I'm trying to keep it on this one specific time that you swore up.
I want to talk about all the other times that he reached for the side of his desk and the dog got back on the mat.
He's going to go through the trouble of supposedly shocking her.
I have to sew in the cats? That's okay. Okay, stop.
In order
can we cut through then? Can we cut through? Do you think it's
and then 3 minutes later, it's just fine for her to get around?
Okay. Can we get past this? So do you think?
Bro, Vadim is like, see, don't you see? Kaya is still breathing. Isn't it the case that Kaya is still breathing? Don't you see that? If Kaya is so abused, why is Kaya breathing?
It's an unreasonable position that someone would have looking at it. Do you think it would be unreasonable for someone to conclude based on that it's a good chance that he shocked the collar or buzzed it? Is it unreasonable to conclude that?
In the one piece of video that I saw where she yelps, she also simultaneously her paw goes limp, and I've seen like if you see
it does not go limp.
No, it absolutely does. If you watch the super version of it, it goes limp.
The question is this: is it like? Do you think that the reason we believe this? Because I believe it too, and I'm not even like a mega Hassan hater like some people. All right, I think it looks like it's conclusive. Are we being unreasonable, or are we being controlled by like
haters? Is it like haters?
I think that the point where it gets unreasonable is if you are actually alleging that there is genuine abuse going on inside.
That's not no. That's making it broader, right? Because the question was there abuse going on in the dynamic? The question is simply and only did he shock or buzz the dog in that context? The question before you is would someone necessarily be unreasonable for looking at that and thinking that there was a shock?
This conversation predictably went to like Alex Jones Collargate.
You brought it up.
You brought it up. Wait,
I was speaking about it in terms of this. Why can't you guys speak to this one situation and admit that?
I don't. What is he doing, man?
Pisco gave you alternatives as to like why that could be the case.
Okay.
He was the one. He was the one that brought up Collargate, though.
I'll respond.
He was specifically referring to how Hutch was making videos about Hassan's Collargate. He doesn't even remember what he's bringing up. It's so stupid.
I'm going to list them so you can respond to them individually. One, is it possible or plausible that perhaps he didn't go to shock the dog because he realized that she had yelped already and he noticed it would have looked bad? Is that a plausible explanation for why he would refrain from shocking the second time?
No,
is it an unreasonable thing?
Hold on. I didn't even want to fucking participate in this aspect of it, but I'll say this. He said later on that he felt bad for how that played out and that it was like 5 minutes later he went back to check on Kaya. So the idea that he knew that he gave her the fucking jolt of a lifetime and then didn't want to give a second fucking zapparoonie is kind of silly under those circumstances.
Wait, no, that's assuming. Wait, no, that's begging the question. The whole question is that he zapped first, right? So you're begging the question by assuming he didn't, right? The question is, does it disprove that he shocked the fact that she walked away the second time? And the answer is no. And the answer is there are other plausible explanations.
I think you're a little confused about the what's going on here. I'm not talking about the infamous one time that like she yelped. I'm talking about recently, a few weeks ago, after everything died down.
He did that shit again.
Another video where he insisted that
he did it again, dude. He did. I wouldn't bet my life on it.
This is a separate thing. Is this a separate thing?
He did it again, bro. I don't know what to tell you. He did
I don't know. I don't know.
No, let's put it up. Let's put the video. Let's put the video.
You're saying I did it again.
Let's put the video.
Pisco didn't understand the situation.
No. So wait, no.
I was told you have a cute hat for donos, not clickbait. Please respond.
Oh.
I'm a guy. I was told you have a cute hat for donos, not clickbait. Please respond.
So I don't. So wait. So Vadim is right. So hang on. So Vadim is right. I thought you were talking about the first instance. So is there like a second instance that you're talking about?
Yes. Put it up on the screen.
Why? Who the fuck cares about this shit? Oh my god!
He brought it up. Put that up. Do it. Show that video. Show that video.
All right.
Show that video.
I'm putting it on screen. We're watching.
What does this look like to you guys? IRI and Pisco. What does it look like?
Well, I'm not seeing it.
I know. Hold on. Yeah.
Settler fairs that are taking place in a synagogue are actually the bad ones.
Back it up a little bit.
God, I can't believe the protesters that are.
This is the part where we go over every single one of Hutch's allegations instead of concentrating on real politics. Instead of talking about real politics, we have to go over every one of Hutch's crimes. Okay, we have to talk about every one of. You guys are freaking out. Bring out the glasses. One day, okay? They're prescription glasses, so.
That are protesting
against
settler fairs.
Yeah,
what's he doing?
Also from P4, I don't think I look that good.
Looks like he pauses his stream of thought to reach for something and get her back onto the thing.
What's he doing there, guys?
Yeah, and then
that look kind of funny?
3 minutes later, he just allows the dog.
What did that look like to you?
Why didn't he do it a second time when she got up?
What did that look like to you?
Holy fuck! She responds to being told place. It was an expectation of probably being told to get back on the spot that she was on.
Why is he reaching his arm? Why is he reaching his arm in the same way that he was doing before, bro?
Motherfucker! Why did you blank your camera to act like you were jerking off to Soy Pill the other day? There's a
I was jerking off
because he was jerking off to me.
Who knows it?
For me, I just want to say, I think it's possible he's reaching for something else. To me, that's not as conclusive as the first time. It looks like he's doing place training, right? He's doing place training or something. And I just don't understand, why is there this like back and forth about these equivocal videos about did he or did he not? Why is this so important to you, Vadim, that shows Hutch's, I don't know what's going on with Hutch.
That Hutch is just so like,
I'm a big poo caca pee head, right?
I mean, let's be real about this. He needs.
I hate that I laughed at that. I never laughed at that, okay? I would never dumb myself down to stupid, childish humor like that. I would never do that. I'm sorry. That was too far. My bad.
To kind of talk about shit like this, because he doesn't have anything like really substantial of real value that people take seriously when it comes to, yeah, absolutely.
Really? Do you need Ogreboy to finish this thought too? We were going to get ready. Ogreboy, get ready. He's going to tag you into it.
This was supposed to
you'll let me talk.
Be ready, Ogreboy. He's going to.
Yeah, Ogreboy, go ahead.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Go ahead, Ogre.
No. Okay. All right. I was just joshing, but if you're going to walk right into that. All right, go.
I just finished watching this. Why didn't you wait for me to watch it? Why does everybody just watch on their own? can you at least wait for me to watch it?
I've said before, when it comes down to it, there's a lot that you can't touch when it comes to him having something more of an aspirational message and you telling people specifically, lower your expectations, expect less, good things are not possible.
Unironically,
because you're stupid. Because you're stupid. Because you're stupid. That's why. All right? You don't understand politics. You don't understand any of politics. You don't give a fuck about it. All right? If this is what wanting good things looks like, I don't want good things. All right? If this is what wanting good things look like, I don't want good things.
That last part. I mean, we can get it. Like, I wanted to say this.
Do you want to play clips? I have that clip.
No,
the bottom line is when it comes down to it, you need to do something to do some manner of like character assassination and milk shit for that long to try to tell people in turn not to listen to Hassan about Gaza, not to listen to Hassan about Medicare for all, not to listen to Hassan about a number of political issues, because your political takes, by and large, everybody that has any rationale to them whatsoever knows you're like politically wrong for a living, basically.
Really? Was it not just like 3 weeks ago that Hassan predicted that Trump would not invade Venezuela, and then Trump invaded Venezuela like hours later? Wasn't that just like 3 weeks ago?
Even Broken Clock's wrong twice a day.
Really?
Broken Clock?
Every time.
Hassan's a broken clock?
You got it. Something that I wanted to say, and I'll be brief about this. And I just want to explain like my philosophical difference between.
By the way, just a reminder that this ogre guy, like fucking ogre guy. Oh my god. This Ogreboy dude, like he has Hassan as a fucking. Why do I have this white speck in my hair? Looks like dried up cum. Oh, sorry. He has a tattoo of Hassan.
With you guys, with Vadim, with Ogreboy, with Hassan. Your first order kind of principle seems to be to change the Democratic Party into a more leftist kind of thing.
No,
and that seems to be like the highest. Well, I'll just speak for Hassan. That's my perspective of him. And below that, he prioritizes beating Republicans. He only opines and throws his weight behind candidates who he personally likes.
So we're finally at the heart of something that's important.
Hang on, I'm almost done. He is not interested in actually like building out a coalition that is best positioned to take majorities away from Republicans and beat them in elections. He is only interested, and he talked about this on his stream just like yesterday. I reacted to a clip from it earlier today. He's very open about like what he wants. Me and him are not. We don't have the same priorities. To me, when I say when Vadim says fascism, I agree. I think Donald Trump and his movement represent a fascist threat. When I think of fascism, I think of the historical examples of fascism. It's not terribly difficult for me to imagine that potentially happening in the United States. And so to me, that represents such a profound danger that I have to, in order to focus on like triage, I have to prioritize just building out the biggest coalition possible. And yes, that includes like throwing my weight behind center-left politicians.
Hold on, holy shit, holy fuck, no. The issue with what you're doing. The issue with what you're doing is because you're putting the fucking cart before the horse. You constantly point back to FDR, but the reality is FDR had a bold vision. That we don't have the bold candidate. We don't have the bold vision. You want to start from the place of already conceding to right-wing Democrats. You want to create a permission structure. Yes, you do. That's the reason that you said the shit about segregationists. It's the reason that you said even in red states that already have really good abortion laws on the books.
I would rather have Hutch. Oh my god. Fuck, this is gonna. Can I just like not make this take? Can I not make this take? Because I feel like if I make this take, I feel like I'm in pain. That's the issue. Okay, that's the issue. I feel as though I'm in pain. All right. Yeah. Okay. So the reason why, not the reason why, but I would rather have Hutch trying to appeal to moderates as an issue rather than trying to prevent lefties from infiltrating the Democratic Party as an issue. I think that both of these are issues in this space specifically, all right? I think it is an issue that lefties are trying to infiltrate the space. I think it's an issue when we concede too much to the moderates and we think too much about appealing to normies, okay? I think that is not good. I think that's not good, all right? But what I think I would rather prefer as the problem is dealing with Hutch. I would rather deal with Hutch as an issue rather than deal with Pisco's appeal to lefties. Although I don't know if he's going to appeal as hard after this one, all right? Does that make sense? If I were to choose any issue that I would rather have, I hate the lefties, okay? I hate the lefties, but I also hate the moderates, all right? Don't make me compare them, okay?
That's the point of it entirely.
I'm not even done. The
point of it, the Ezra thing, he was not making...
Holy shit.
You jump in and tell me to let them finish.
Just let him finish. You can respond.
The bottom line is, when it comes down to it, you are mad. You are mad in your soul that fucking Manchin got bullied. You in turn want the party to create a permission structure to put their arms around right-wing Democrats because you think that just inflates the numbers. But you don't have the bold candidate. You don't have the bold policy. You just want to create the same sort of fucking roadblocks that we have on the SCOTUS,
even if you granted
in the fucking Senate and in the House.
Ogre, even if you granted that, even if you granted that, right? Let's just.
Why would you ever have? I just don't even know. Why would you ever have your online tag to be Ogreboy? What? Out of all the fucking stupid ass names you could have chose, you chose Ogreboy? Really?
Grant that he wants to make these kinds of political alliances because he views it's more electorally feasible.
Really?
Even if you granted that to the right wing, isn't that no more or less than what you're proposing? You're basically saying that you should walk arm and foot. I don't know what the fucking phrase is. That we should walk.
A martini, shaken not stirred.
Cats are okay. Thank you so much for the 150. I appreciate that. Thank you.
A martini, shaken not stirred.
Thanks for the 150.
Talk with more left-wing candidates, and that's more politically feasible.
It's a cat sticker.
So,
no,
I don't think you can attack him.
No.
Why?
I want decent fucking public servants that are going to listen to what the fuck their people and their constituency actually want, and then move forward with that. That's it. That's that simple.
Wait, and you think Hutch doesn't, right? And you think Hutch doesn't? And you think Hutch doesn't?
No, he doesn't care
all.
about the policy. He just wants to make sure that there's more people, even if it is a fucking Republican that
It's not true that I don't care about policy.
You've already said this.
No.
You've already said this on your stream.
But you're missing the
else with that.
You did say you would vote for Epstein. You did say you would vote for Epstein.
I did, and I stand by that. But you're
I've
wrong.
asked you to your face.
You're wrong.
Mike from PA responded to me. He's like, Hutch said he would vote for Epstein. I'm like, what? And then I remember he did.
Re-registered on a Monday, and on Wednesday registered as a Democrat, changed none of his positions whatsoever, and still would have ended up being a obstructionist element. Would you support that person by virtue of the fact that they're a Democrat? And you said yes.
I would vote for Epstein 1,000 times over. I would vote for Epstein 1,000 times over if Epstein ran as a Democrat against a Republican of today. I would. And then I'll vote for him again. And then I'll vote for him again. And then I'll go to jail. And then I'll attend trial for faking votes.
You can't get mad at Hutch saying that you are
now you're interrupting me. It's fine.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Whatever. Everybody can just fucking punch down on me. Just bald.
No, I was going to defend you.
Listen, the context means everything right now. When I say that I would welcome even a center-right Democrat, I'm obviously talking about in districts that would make them competitive. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying
political pressure to be able to be applied to those candidates. Yes or no?
Hang on. I'm not saying that we should replace the entire party with Joe Manchin's. It's so dishonest.
In front of your face.
Ogre, let him.
What are you talking about? It's so dishonest to suggest that my ultimate vision is to turn the Democratic Party into a conservative party. First of all, the Democratic Party of today is wildly to the left of the Democratic Party that existed when I was growing up. Any kind of suggestion that they've broadly moved right is just nonsense. And going back to your previous point, you keep bringing up FDR. You always ignore the fact that FDR was able to do what he was able to do because he was springboarding off of a Great Depression. And he had super majorities in Congress, and a third of those supermajorities were racist segregationists. According to you, though, my current electoral strategy is evil, so I assume you would have opposed FDR forming a coalition with those segregationists.
What did I say 5 minutes ago? I said you're lacking
answer my question.
I would rather vote for Epstein than Stephen Miller, okay? If it's Epstein versus Stephen Miller, I will vote for Epstein 50 times, okay?
Answer my question.
Willing to move forward. You're rephrasing something I didn't say.
But you're comparing FDR, who had 85% control of the Congress, to Joe Biden, who had
the wrong direction.
Senate, bro. It's not an appropriate comparison. It doesn't make any sense.
Vadim, you raised your hand when Hutch said that this wasn't the most left the Democrats have been. I think that's true. So do you disagree?
I have two things. Yes, I disagree, but I really, more than anything, I want to point out that Hutch, you are not an ally of the little guy. You identify yourself as an abundance liberal. Abundance is overwhelmingly funded by Koch brothers affiliated groups.
What is abundance? What does it mean to you?
What do you mean? What is
the philosophy of abundance?
It's also they are fundamentally.
What is abundance?
Dude, let me speak. Okay. Abundance is also the people who fund it are also overwhelmingly anti-union. And lastly, just recently, Bari Weiss
funded abundance.
When she
funded abundance. What are you talking about?
When Bari Weiss recently appointed 18 new bullshit artists for to CBS. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about the way that she has completely wrecked CBS. She chose not Ezra Klein, but I forget his name, Derek Thompson. He is joining all of these COVID deniers and like just like the absolute, like, not COVID deniers, I'm sorry, vaccine deniers and whatnot. And like that's
kind of a guilt by association argument. Do you really, I mean, like, I have my problems with
Derek Thompson, the whole book is about how much he likes COVID vaccines, right? Like he thought it was amazing.
Yeah, there was a whole section,
His chapter specifically. So by the way, Derek Thompson's chapter specifically were about
you is the kiss of death. There is no.
Wait, hold on, Vadim, did you read it? Did you read the book?
Look. I'm not going to go into. Did you read the book? I have another point.
You're not going to go into that. Did you read the book?
Derek Thompson's chapters? Derek Thompson's chapters.
I've listened to a lot of people who I think are.
No, you need to read theory, okay?
Far more.
Why don't you read the book before opining on it?
Expecting it than you. And by the way, like,
you're deflecting to other people again. By the way,
you
need to read theory.
And make your arguments for you. Apparently,
call into. I'm not an abundance expert, so I'm not going to go into.
Stop talking about it.
But Vadim, if you're going to call, because I consider myself pro abundance. If you say abundance is like, oh, we're not for the little guy. I mean, like, I think the arguments are pretty salient, and to say that we somehow are like anti small people because, but you haven't, like, you don't understand what the arguments of abundance are.
I think that you are attaching yourself to a movement that
you don't even know what the movement is. You really don't. What is abundance? What is it all about?
Dude, I'm not going to get into
what. What is abundance?
If you're
saying it's bad, what is it?
The very sensible fact.
You're saying it's bad. What is it? What is abundance?
Not just the kiss of death. It's the kiss of oblivion to be funded.
No. I mean, that's not true. Hang on.
To be funded, but anyway, I have another point that is more.
I want to address this because there's some interesting things you brought out. Some of which is true. Yes, it's true that there are some sort of like people who are pushing abundance and who are like, wow, this is a good idea. Who are like unsavory people who are just deregulation bros. I mean, that's true. But, and we don't deny that at all. But there's just like a need to drill down on specifically what aspects of the perspectives that you disagree with. So for Derek Thompson's chapter specifically, he emphasizes how awesome it was for the COVID vaccine as a way to sort of stress the importance of public funding for new technologies, et cetera, et cetera. And that seems like a good idea. That seems like totally in line with an AOC type vision, with a socialist type vision to put public dollars, for research and that kind of stuff.
Some things inside of it that are
correct
in there too.
I know. So you started this. So wait, let me just. This will be the last thing. The last sentence. I'll let you talk. Last sentence. I'll let you talk. You started this whole thing about thought terminating cliches, and I'm like, yeah, I don't like thought terminating cliches. One thought terminating cliche is abundance. Oh, just fucking Koch brothers. I think that's a thought terminating cliche.
That's fine. I think that what I brought up is more than understandable to like just kind of as like a
the dankest dungeon.
Okay, you didn't need to do that. Misaki, thank you so much for the 10 gifted subs. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you, Misaki. That's so much. Thank you. You're so kind. Ew, and all that. Dude, the food shop meetup could either be one of the most normal things or one of the worst experiences. I think that an IRL meetup will go to show how awkward I am and how much more Giga Chad you guys are. All right, you guys would unironically be so much cooler than I am in a public setting because I am awkward Andy. All right, I am awkward Andy. In my world, trust me, I have no social skills. Okay, good luck.
Huge red flag. How about this, guys? Since I do not feel at all competent to talk about this, I could.
He has to be doing this on purpose, right? Like, this guy has to be doing this on purpose, right? He's trolling, right? Widow Shoppies is shy. I am shy. I am shy. If I ever saw any of you guys IRL, I would be like, hi, this is kind of awkward, guys. It's like, I mean, just, oh God. I realize that you haven't seen the bottom half of my body before. Oh God, I feel so exposed. I feel so awkward, and oh God, like
Sam Cedar, right? Like we.
Oh my God,
100%. No, I'd love that.
To talk about it.
I would love
we
that.
We talked to Sam about abundance. I saw his stuff, but that's fine. But I guess the point is, I don't like if you call Hutch or me, because I am an abundance person for the most part, to say like we don't care about the little guy when it's like.
I think that you are. I mean, I think probably you very much think that you're helping the little guy, but I think you're attaching yourself to a movement that, at the end of the day,
you can't even tell me what the movement is, Vadim. You don't know what it is.
That's kind of the problem
I didn't
with the
say
book,
it in
though.
order to have.
What do you mean?
Oh my God, Ogre! What the fuck?
About?
Wait, that's the stupidest response I've heard all day, Ogre. You're like, the problem with the book is no one knows what it's about.
Well, by and large,
well, then read it, right? You're telling me you wouldn't pick Mew up and tower them in the air a couple of times before coffee? Yeah, exactly.
By and large, any interview that Klein's done on it, the idea of trying to drill down on a boogeyman across the board about what the movement is trying to attack, he's never specific on.
Well, no, it's not a policy. It's not a policy book.
Exactly.
No, but it's not trying to be. It's not trying to be a policy prescription.
There's enough people that are trying to treat it like it is a policy prescription and overall movement. It is the thing that I'm the more concerned about more than anything else is the idea of the deregulation piece, because it always seems to go in one direction.
Well, listen,
I can imagine the headlines after the Foodshops meetup. Local pet ring arrested at meetup. Take that back right now.
I have my critique. I'm not full on abundance. I'm like 70% on some of the stuff. Like, I don't agree, for example, some of the critiques of the BEAD funding that was done in some of these interviews afterwards. I think some of these are unfair critiques at Biden. And I think that some of the, I'm skeptical of some of the anti-environmental regulations on some fronts, especially in a world where Trump, it doesn't have many guardrails. I'm concerned sometimes that the streamlining might have a negative consequence when it comes to authoritarianism. So there are some critiques I have of it. And okay, but in general, I don't think it's enough. And I don't think it's good analysis to just be like, guilt by association. That would be like saying you have to dismiss everything Hassan says because he has some like insane friends who say some insane shit, and you wouldn't accept that. You shouldn't accept this either.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I think it's salient and good to be skeptical of like why would the Koch brothers fund this? And it could be because of some malicious, like Machiavellian plan to just destroy like the left wing. But it also could be because they would make money off of housing, which is I don't like that the Koch brothers make money off of that, but I'm fine if it means that more people get more affordable housing. And I do think that is a condition of something that would happen. And just to be clear, like as someone who lives in the Bay Area, like I don't like the idea of regulations just being stripped away willy nilly. But there's definitely a problem.
Oh my God, he lives in the Bay Area. Okay.
Over regulation to the degree that it doesn't allow us to build housing in San Francisco, and it sucks. And I wish we had a way around it.
The issue with that becomes it really is something that needs to be judged on a case-by-case basis. There isn't a single
right. Like Mamdani is citing abundance too. Mamdani's abundance build. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But in the number one salesman of the abundance mindset, the one big debate that he had.
Oh, come on. Just call Ezra Klein Jewish. I know you want to, all right? Like, we're just building up to it. I can't believe there's so much, like, build up to it. Like, just put things more concisely, all right? Just say, Ezra Klein's Jewish, and I don't like that Ezra Klein's Jewish, okay? Just say it, okay? Just say that he supports Israel because he's Jewish, and oh my God, just say the anti-Semitic thing already, okay?
With Sam, when you pause the video and actually look.
Foods is a fairy? No, I'm an awkward alt girl, IRL, okay? When I visit to the apartment office, they're like, oh my God, you're so pretty. You look like an artist. And I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to react to that? And then they're like, what? Like, how do you make money? How do you make money? You need to show proof. You need to show proof of income. And I'm like, oh yeah, I make money off of YouTube. And they're like, what? You make money off of YouTube? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, whoa, that's so cool. And I'm like, please tell your kids to go to college.
Into each one, and yes, I am psychotic enough to have done that.
No.
He misrepresented every single.
No. Ezra had some big fuck ups when he was critiquing Biden. And I actually think Sam Cedar.
No. Hold on. No, before you go down that road, that's not what I'm talking about at all. All of the different examples where he was talking, with the exception of one, which he still misrepresented, but the different examples where he was talking about the Sunshine Movement suing to stop solar panels in Maine. Well, there was a story behind that too. They wanted to make the project take a little bit longer to make sure that the deforestation that was going to happen actually was what was required for the moment, that it wasn't something that was bigger than what it needed to be. A lot of these circumstances actually have a story behind it, but the idea of vilifying all of it across the board is really fucking stupid. When the overarching backbone of how it's pitched is to try to make sure that developers can get the most profit out of something,
well,
that's always something that's going to throw up a red flag.
So what do you make of the China glazing from so many people in the online?
Whoa, hey, any China Maxers in the chat? Any China Maxers in the chat? I'm a China Maxer. Anyone else China Maxing?
Left space. I'm just curious. Do you think it's appropriate to like glaze them for their infrastructure?
I mean, there's always something that we can take away from other people. That's one of the reasons that this country is supposed to be great, right?
Well, why do you think they can do all that infrastructure?
It sounds like you're more open to fucking Chinese, great whatever theories as opposed to abundance. Like you're more like, oh, we can take this and that and then whatever. And
I think the over reliance on like public-private partnerships and the willingness to just step forward and say, fuck it, we're going to build something even if it's by the government themselves, I think is fine.
But Ezra says in abundance that he wants. One of the examples he uses is these situations where it's pure public funding. You would hope that those would be like the best examples of government. So it's not the case that he wants to abandon public funded projects. In fact, it's the opposite, at least if you read the book.
And also, I don't know how much I haven't investigated this deeply, but my understanding is that Chinese regulations are way more relaxed than ours, and that's why you see a lot of fucking buildings collapse over there and stuff like that. No, I don't want to be.
What the fuck China Max is? Clearly, you do not China Max, my friend. Loser alert.
That much in China. So I think that we don't have to be as strict as we are.
I want something that works for us, but it's not to say that the principal factor needs to be something where we put the concerns about profits for developers first and foremost. That's not the overall.
I'm so glad you said
the book, but that's also something that Klein uses to sell the idea of the book.
One of the things that he points to is China's abilities, and so when you
see when you say Klein, okay, that's with anti-Semitic intent, okay. Like, I'm just being real right here. You're saying that with anti-Semitic intent. Why would you say it like that? Why do you say lying? Like, whoa.
You say, yeah, there's some things that we could look at China for. Ezra agrees with that. In fact, the fact that like they price in fraud or some amount of people who are going to take advantage into the overall scheme is something that someone like Ezra would say, yeah, that's worth it if it gets to the actual goal. So the whole point, I think, of bringing up the China example, maybe this was Hutch's point, was to how you frame who you look to, whether it's China or whether it's abundance, is doing a lot in terms of how sympathetic you are to hearing the argument out. And I think that is a little bit telling. It's telling that the association seems to be doing a lot of the work here.
I'm just going off of the examples that Klein himself gave. When he turns around and says that I don't like it if people's apartments give them asthma, but I do need people to have apartments, it's a virtue signal to basically say that like we should be considering the desires of the profitability of developers over like the little guys' actual needs.
He's not at all implying that it's like, well, if they get asthma, it's fine as long as they have housing. Like,
that's a direct quote. That's a direct quote.
No, I know, but the implication of that quote is not, I guess asthma is fine. He's saying there are obviously concerns on either end of this, and yes, we have to consider the health of people, but if you have all of these regulations and everyone's stepping over each other to be like, well, the steps need to be this high and you can't hurt this bird nest, unfortunately, projects never get created. So you have to look, and he's talking about not stripping regulation completely, but going through with a comb and saying which of these things are absolutely necessary and which of these things are actually preventing housing from being built. I think last year, like halfway through the year, 15 new homes were built in San Francisco. It was fucking atrocious, and that's the reason no one can afford anything anywhere.
Mamdani talks about this shit when he
Wait, just 15? I didn't even know about that, but I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, like there are horror stories of people trying to open up shop, and the amount of regulations there are is a total fucking nightmare. Like even trying to open up like something, like trying to open up your dream, like fucking ice cream shop or something is a total nightmare to navigate just simply because of how like fucking restrictive all the fucking regulations are. And yeah, I would argue that it's unacceptable. Fucking server reset. But yeah, like I would argue it's unacceptable. The fact that there are so many fucking regulations and it's just restricting everything. Yeah, it's insane.
He is going on the street and saying, isn't this crazy that these fucking people who are selling halal food, whatever, right? Like, yeah, he has a bunch of these examples. Like Mamdani, I think, has been brilliant in terms of his rhetoric and how he frames it. But there's nothing inherently wrong with it. And what I hate is the kind of reflexive.
Because ultimately, no matter how many regulations you have, if you're not building housing, it wouldn't even matter because you're going to make the entire population incredibly unhealthy. You're going to make the entire population like people are more out on the streets, housing prices go up, real estate agents gets to profit more off of lower housing, limited supply. You have people who are out there on the streets, who are homeless, right? You have people who, more people on the streets being like more people who will purchase drugs, who are in proximity to dangerous people. You'll have more incentive for gangs to recruit people and because they're in desperate times. Yeah, like all these like environmental regulations will mean very little if we do not solve the housing crisis here in California. It's very fucked. Okay.
Let's just dismiss it because it's Hassan, or let's just dismiss it because it's Mamdani, or let's just dismiss it because it's Ezra Klein. And crucially, that's what I try not to do. When I see Hassan giving a take, when I see, a central.
No, Pisco. I think you're a contrarian. Okay. Like, I think you're a contrarian. You don't want to go with the wind. All right. You always want to be like, oh yeah, I'm the cool contrarian person.
Give and take. I do try to hit it for its merits, but sometimes it really does feel that the left, some people on the left, which I consider myself part of the left, will see who is making the statement and reflexively reject it. But yeah, no, that's
what I'm doing. I started from a position of looking into each one of the claims that he made in numerous of the conversations that he's had about this, and they don't pan out the way that he's presenting it. That's my issue. So it's not like it's not. I'm sorry. Last thing, let me talk. I apologize, but that's where I'm coming from. It's the point of view of here's why these things matter. This is why it's important. Here's the examples I'm going to use. And when you take the time to go through each fucking example, it doesn't pan out the way he's saying. So as long as it's like you say that the protections for the little guy are actually protected, things of that nature, cool, I'm fine with it. But that's my fear is that it's a Trojan horse for like Reagan style deregulation.
Sure, that's healthy skepticism.
I guess I was just going to say that I agree with you that sometimes just if it comes from a bad source that it shouldn't be dismissed out of hand for that reason. But the reason why I brought up the points that I did is because I think that it speaks volumes when you see who in positions of power are funding a certain thing and who in positions of power who have awful reputations and have an agenda like Barry Weiss with CBS are partnering with those who are architects of the movement that you're part of. I think it should.
Well, we hate Barry Weiss.
It might not, and that alone, I'm not saying that alone is is like a, you know, it's not any sort of like death shot or, you know, you get what I'm saying. But I think that it's a plausible red flag at the very least.
Sure. I mean, it could plausibly create skepticism. That's fine. But surely you would agree that sometimes you can have overlapping interests between people that you align with and maybe some right-wingers, right? Like, for example, like how do you feel broadly about the Cato Institute?
Most of the time, if I'm getting, you know what, I know that I've heard the name.
They're like a right-wing libertarian think tank, but they're also like
they're probably bad news.
Okay, but they're also like super pro-immigration, right? So that's overlap with like the leftist position that we should be massively increasing our immigration. So it's fine to be skeptical, but you seem to be closing yourself.
Why the strikes seem at least somewhat reasonable here is because Vadim is a total fucking clown retard. Okay, Ogreboy realizes now that Vadim cannot debate for shit. And Vadim is only like nerfing him and dragging him down. But like, don't get me wrong, Ogreboy also cannot debate at all. All right, this guy is a total clown. He has Hassan as a tattoo. He would suck Hassan's dick if Hassan even glances his way. He's a super cringe person. Also a leftist retard. Also bisexual lighting. Also he looks like Ryan Reynolds but retarded. And he looks like a burn victim. That pink looks gay.
Off to the possibility that sometimes good policy that has good outcomes could overlap with, like, you know, people that you find to be unsavory, right?
I mean, Kamala said the wall was a good idea, so you know we do need to be open.
Hassan has a tattoo. Yes.
Oh my God!
Why are you doing this? See, like the thing is, it's not just that you disagree in terms of Kamala's position. It's that you're so fucking smug about it, Ogre. Like you're basically suggesting.
Foods, you cannot talk about lighting. What are you talking about? My lighting is perfect. Hello? Fucking orange lighting coming in here. Blue bright lighting coming in through here. All right? It creates a dynamic. It's more unique than pink and neon pink and gross lighting like that. It's more, it's a, what I have in mind is like a Californian sunset on a beach. That's what I have. Mexico piss filter light. You're trying to trigger me. Okay, I'm getting one guide. That's what's happening.
No, yes, he is. In that moment, what is he doing there? You're trying to twist the knife and you're trying to be like, haha, Kamala lost. What a fucking joke. Like, it doesn't sound like someone who's turning a new leaf and realize how horrible things are and they should have voted. It sounds.
How does this look like Mexico? What part of this looks like Breaking Bad? This does not look like the set of Breaking Bad. Okay? None of this is Breaking Bad. It's literally, I was thinking of California beach sunset. Okay? California beach sunset. That's what I was thinking of. I don't know why you're thinking of Breaking Bad.
Like you're trying to twist the knife.
It's a silly point too, by the way, because Democrats have never opposed like any structures or fencing. That's been the standard Democratic position for decades. Donald Trump's proposed border wall was a border wall that stretched along the entire southern border, which is like 2,000 miles and completely unworkable. And
the yellow tint from this direction? Yeah, that's on purpose. But there's very clearly a fucking, like there's obviously a bright white bluish tint coming from this direction.
Any locations, because there's like mountain ranges, there's eminent domain issues with people's property, but the Democrats have never opposed like
wait, are you guys just being racist?
Any kind of structure. And what was in that bipartisan border bill was funding that was appropriated by the.
It's like telling Lando Calrissian, I think you kind of have a black tint. I'm not talking about your skin. I just think you have a black tint.
Congress in 2019, and it was just assurances that that money would be spent on border wall, and it was pushed out to like 2028.
I watched you watch this video this week. You went out of your way before she ever got to the statement to try to defend it reflexively. The optics.
Are you going to respond to what I just said?
Suicide.
Are you going to respond to what I just said? Are you going to respond to what I just said?
He's saying you do that all the time.
He's not, but you're not responding to what I just said. Like the idea that Kamala Harris supported Donald Trump's border wall is not true. It is false.
She said.
That said, I think there's a way you can phrase a critique, which I would accept. I just want to give Ogre what he wants. There are ways in which you can phrase a critique, which I would accept, which are Democrats have been much too accepting of the framing and rhetoric on immigration. That's even something Hassan has said, which I agree with. But how you say it, I think this is the kind of thing that sometimes you guys do. How you phrase it is so fucking annoying. Like, yeah, you can just say they shouldn't have voted for Lincoln Riley Act. You shouldn't have made this policy position. That's all well and good, but go for it.
Anderson Cooper specifically said that you've been talking against this wall for the last 8 years, calling it a narcissistic monument to a bigoted.
Yeah, he was wrong to frame it that way.
And she in turn said, I'm not going to turn down a good idea regardless of who it comes from. She was specifically talking about the wall. That was a moment.
She was obviously responding.
That was a moment in time when a lot of people that she was trying to appeal to by going on tour with Liz Cheney, that she was trying to appeal to, that they looked at what she was saying and saying, "This, she doesn't mean anything. She's not being serious. There's no conviction."
Come on.
Are we going back to the Kamala?
She lost a lot of the purchasing power that she had in trying to appeal to those moderate independents in the first place.
But when I asked you, and I hope you have a better answer for me, and I would actually, you know what, Vadim, let me ask you a question. And it's not a gotcha. I just want to know. Let's say
I don't believe you.
Can I just say, I agree with Vadim there. I don't believe you either, Hutch.
I just want to say quickly, the January 6th, the team up with Liz Cheney was over January 6th.
Okay, I want to confer with my tag team.
I hate the whole Liz Cheney thing, just mainly because it's clear that, like, no matter, dude, oh my God, Kamala Harris could endorse 50 trillion Liz Cheneys, but it wouldn't even match up to even 1% of what Trump has done. Who the fuck cares whether or not she has teamed up with Liz Cheney or not? Everybody made such a big fucking deal over that. And in the end, it doesn't even fucking matter in any way whatsoever. Trump still scammed with Trump coin. The Epstein file still happened. How does that impact anything? How does that indicate anything? It's so fucking retarded. Really? We're gonna hyperfixate on the Liz Cheney thing? Dude, I'm telling you right now, this is propaganda, all right? Like, that is people falling for propaganda. It's falling for propaganda because you hyper criticize everything Kamala Harris does, okay? She breathes the wrong way. She has the wrong skin color, all right? She fucking gives off an attitude of superiority. Motherfucker, okay? Oh my God, why don't you ever give Trump any of these criticisms? Trump, oh, is it because we're used to Trump's bullshit? Is that why? We're just used to Trump's bullshit. Oh, dude, give me a break. Get out of here, okay? The fucking lame-ass fucks. Oh my God.
Partner here for just a moment.
Shoot.
What he's about to ask you is how do you dig yourself out of a hole that you yourself created in the first place by putting a major issue on the back burner? Take it away, Hutch.
No. Okay. What I'm asking you is when AOC, let's say she runs, when AOC is on the debate stage and she's up against her Democratic primary opponents, and the moderator asks her, and they're going to ask her this question. They're going to say, the border got really chaotic under Biden. The public largely turned on the Biden administration. It was the number 2 issue. People were very concerned about border security. Many people voted for Donald Trump because they wanted more border security. Do you think that Biden handled that well? And if not, what would you do differently? What would be your policy that you would implement if 800,000 people per month start showing up at the border?
Honestly, I think that that's like a little out of my depth. I'd have to kind of do some research.
Guys, how do I achieve this state of no shame? I feel as though I would be happy if I felt no shame. If I feel no shame, I'm able to live life happily, okay? I'm able to live life happily if I felt no shame. Just like Vadim, okay? Just like Vadim. If I felt absolutely no shame, I feel like life would be so much easier to live. Oh my God. We must reach the Vadim mindset, okay? We have to, oh my God, guys, we have to reach the Vadim mindset, okay?
Search to like really, but I will say one thing quickly, which is just that I believe that we need to continue to, like, I'm not sure if this would have been the right thing for me to say in the moment, but I support creating more paths to and also I think that
would you grant that was Kamala's position?
That was Kamala's position, right?
And I also think that they actively needed to in a very, very substantial way to speak against the propaganda that they were that they ended up supporting in a lot of their. I mean, there's no
what propaganda did Kamala support?
Well, I mean, I'm talking about like that, like for instance, that ad that like where she was. You know what? I'm like so fried.
Are you talking about the like she was for they them, and then she had to distance herself from the like promoting trans surgeries.
Trans surgeries.
You know what, guys? I'm really like fading fast. I have.
Oh my God! Why is he? Me too. Okay, me too. I'm also fading fast. It's like 1:13 right now. I'm also fading. Okay, fair enough. I'm also fading. I understand. All right, just. How do I learn this? How do I learn this power?
Like certain limits, 3 hours is a lot for me, and I'm.
The coffin strat, yeah, the Peter coffin strat.
Just not able to.
20 minutes is a lot for you.
Hey. No, hang on. One second.
It is a lot.
Fuck him. Wait. He's been so out of line this whole time, and I'm going to throw a jab at him, and you're going to clutch your pearls.
No.
You've been belligerent against me the whole time, bro.
Come on. That's fair. You can do that. Like I grant you that. But I will say that, like, I mean, I don't think you like just maybe after we talk, this is over. Talk with Soy Pill about like my medical issues. They're not. It's not bullshit. Like it is not bullshit.
Oh, poor Vadim, world's smallest violin. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I have medical issues. I hope you suffer. Sorry. That was out of line. Let me correct myself. Whoa. Okay, maybe it's better if I don't speak, actually.
Oh,
is being a fucking prick like one of the side effects of your
No, but that's not what he's talking
you
about.
must have the same thing as him.
What he's talking about has to do with his stamina for doing it, not about him being a prick earlier. I mean, that's different.
It's really it's very much about that. I'm okay with sticking around for maybe like another 10-15 minutes. I do have one point that I want to make, which is outside of all this, which I don't think is going to provoke a very long conversation. So at some point, I want the ability to say that. But
are you okay?
Okay, we could. But I would like, if it's cool, I would like to, because I feel like I talked over Ogreboy more than I should have.
We're so far past whatever I was
we're good. It's good. Yeah,
go ahead.
Let's do the last point.
Are you sure? I'd like to open it up to. Okay, that's fine if that's how Ogreboy feels. I just want to say this because I know, Hutch, I know you're going to rewatch this and kind of give your 2 cents on all this, which will undeniably be a whole bunch of bullshit. But I wanted to specifically to speak to you asked me to reach out to Ethan Klein. I will in the future when I'm working on a video that's probably going to be a little while before it's up. I want to make sure that you know that. But the other thing that is even more important that I wanted to convey here is that just so you know, there's this like misconception that I dodged Ethan, and I don't know if that is kind of like where you were coming from with asking me to talk with him. Like basically on the show, he presented it like I was dodging him.
Oh my God, Vadim, just go already, please. You're really not doing any kind of.
Refused to, like, he cropped out our messages in order to make it look like I was ducking him, and I absolutely was not. So I just want you to know that when you are discussing it, so that you're not basically like spreading some BS like this guy is calling me a pussy, but he wouldn't talk to Ethan. That's not the case. So
tell Ethan to stop dodging me, Hutch. Tell Ethan to stop dodging me. That's more important.
Well, I don't know why didn't you go on the show if he invited you?
He invited me. He told me that I could come on anytime that I wanted, and I made the thinking about it, just remembering the details. I made the date with them, and then something came up on my end. I wrote them and said that I couldn't make it, and then literally 1 minute after that, I wrote like, but I want to reschedule as soon as possible. Give me a list of dates, like something like that. It's on like Donkey Kong, and they cropped it right at the point. Like literally, you can see if you look at the full picture because it's like Twitter, and you can see the like timestamps. You can see that.
Vadim, nobody cares, okay? Like, can you just like chill for a moment? Like, dude, nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about you or your allegations. You're irrelevant, okay? You're irrelevant. Nobody cares about you, all right? You're everyone's laughingstock. You're pathetic. You're a loser. What else? You're frankly very embarrassing. I don't know how anyone puts up with you. You're a disappointment to your family. Yada, 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 yada.
1 minute after the first message that I sent came the other, and they showed it like in a misleading fashion. And then on top of that, Ethan couldn't even make it himself. They didn't end up doing a show that day. So it's just kind of ridiculous in all sorts of ways. I was not ducking him. If anything, it's the other way around. I made it very clear. I also messaged Dan, you know, the one of the crew guys, and just kept on saying like, have me on. So that is the actual story with that, just so everyone knows.
Vadim, we asked for your closing thoughts, not your pathetic excuse on why you should be considered a human being. Okay, we asked for your gross. We asked for your closing thoughts. We didn't ask for your fucking life story.
That was the thing that you wanted to close out on?
Yeah. I wanted to make sure that you knew that. I mean, I guess I could say more substantially that it's my belief with all of the vote discussion that we had that that I think that by shaming those who took
I get it. You're insecure about literally everything, and nobody actually cares about
principled
you.
stand inside that situation. It's my belief that you guys are actually creating more voter apathy by creating this, contributing to this feel of it being kind of like.
Wait, that wasn't the closing statement? That fucking yap? That fucking yap wasn't the closing statement? Now it's the closing statement? You know what? I'm in Zen mode right now, okay? You can't make me mad.
It's our club. You're in.
How much for you to play Fortnite? $500.
You guys are out. And I wouldn't feel that way. I wouldn't feel that way if I didn't think that those people were actually doing something active to create a necessary change that they felt like they had to do. Like again, like I don't think that they worked against the endeavor for Kamala to win. I think that they actively did something to like help the situation, and that's That's the way.
Listen,
Vadim, I don't even shame necessarily Trump supporters in general. I think they deserve it, but like a lot of the times you can embrace these people with empathy and like have them admit they made a mistake.
Okay,
the
fine,
problem is when these people who chose to do what you say, take a principled stance, then come out and talk shit about the Democrats, like, wow, look how awful this is, and this should have happened. It's like, well, what did you do? And the answer is, in my opinion, not enough. So it's not people that everyone on vote shaming. It's specifically the shit talkers.
I go on the Vanguard. I go talk to lefty people. I go on fucking Crystal and Kyle. I interface with these people in good faith, and I don't at every opportunity say, you know what, Crystal Ball, you really should have endorsed Kamala Harris. I don't do that shit. But it's when people come with this attitude and start talking shit, that's bullshit, and I'm gonna call that out.
Nah, I think it's good to tell Crystal Ball how ballless she is, how she doesn't ball. I don't fucking know. Okay, fuck you.
Yeah, I respect that. I respect that. But that's like why I'm here talking about this in the first place.
Well, guys. Hutch is trying to talk.
Thank you.
Foodshoppers don't like Fortnite. What am I, 7?
Initiative on that one. I don't dispute that people like Hassan and people that are kind of in the circles that you guys prefer that have good intentions. Like, I don't dispute that they want good outcomes for people. I don't think they're evil people in service of some kind.
You look great tonight, Foodshops, by the way. I like the hair clip. It's cute. Thank you. I appreciate that. Very kind of you to say. Thank you.
Kind of evil agenda. I just find
both like we're using dead Palestinian children as an ornament.
I find your tactics. I firmly believe that. I find your tactics.
Okay, then spare me the bullshit.
I find your tactics to be completely incoherent. I don't know what principle you're upholding by taking some kind of action to
I would play it if it got me viewers. Look, you know what I tell all content creators or people who want to become content creators, or what I tell mothers who say, oh, my daughter, my son wants to become a content creator. You know what I tell them? You know what I tell the parents of those kids who want to be content creators, who look up to people like me? Go to college. Survivor's bias, okay? That's the amount of people who succeed, okay? That's the amount of people you hear from. These are all the dead corpses, okay? All the corpses, okay? These are all the corpses because dead men tell no tales. That's why. Dead men tell no tales. Do you know what we call that? Survivor's bias.
Materially assist Republicans winning elections. I don't think that gets you anywhere closer to.
But you did go to college, right? Exactly.
Your goal. And kind of expanding on that a little bit, I don't think it positions you guys to actually extract more concessions in the future, because if the party apparatus views your particular wing of like left-wing politics, or supposedly the Democratic Party coalition, if they view you guys to be unreliable members of the coalition, I don't know why they would prioritize trying to curry favor with you guys over pivoting to the center. I'm saying that you can push politicians when they're in office, and I think Biden is a really fucking good example of this. Like, he was pushed left on a number of issues.
You had an open door with Biden. You had an open door, but not on everything. Not on Gaza, perhaps.
There was one video that I watched, okay? There was one video that I watched that I think anybody who wants to take content creation seriously should watch, okay? And it's by a content creator that many, many people do not like, Ludwig. He made an excellent video on setting your expectations before jumping into content creation. I hate the motherfucker. I don't like Ludwig in any capacity, but that video, I still adhere, okay? I still adhere to that video's philosophy to this day.
Not everything, but now, where are the protests against the Trump administration?
That way.
After he won, he invited the left wing to be in the discussions about what should go in the ARP, and no, they didn't get every provision. And yes, people like Manchin and Sinema blocked some provisions that I'm sure
his domestic policy was influenced.
I love my ex on Queen Debate Pro. What are you talking about? I'm not a debate pro. I really wish, guys, I really wish I was a debate pro. I wish I was better at debating. Okay, I don't know why you're saying that, but okay, thanks. Like, I just hate that he's bending the knee for his son.
Lobbed by Bernie.
Yes, and Warren and like a lot of the activist groups. You have that opportunity to get those concessions after they win. If you guys continue to do this strategy of we're going to threaten to
need more XCOM, I'm waiting for people to update the mod more. Okay, the mod pack is made by extremely, extremely talented people, but they're doing it for free. Okay, so
to help Republicans win. I don't know what choice you give the Republican Party, but to pivot to the
this is the victory. This is the victory of the Bernie side of the victory of the Bernie wing in 2016 and 2020 manifested itself in Biden's administration domestically, and you don't want to take credit for it, even though it was the most left-wing domestic policy that we've seen in decades, perhaps ever. And so that's what I don't understand. Like, Bernie did something incredible to the Democratic Party.
Bernie did something incredible by hanging on to the last minute in order to get as much concessions as humanly possible.
He endorsed Hillary Clinton. He endorsed both Hillary. He endorsed Joe Biden. And
you know what we need? More cop slop? No, I need a girlfriend.
great accomplishment of the progressive movement.
Specifically blamed Bernie for staying into the races for as long as he did.
I think
Okay,
he cost
that's
her.
dumb.
Yeah,
Okay, that's dumb.
No, well, we can debate that, but I think he
Yeah,
cost her
we'll debate
2016. I do think he cost her that. Yeah, but and he took a different approach in 2020. Do you realize that? As soon as it became obvious that he didn't.
What about a boyfriend? I'm not into men, but thanks for the offer. All right, I've gotten plenty of offers from men specifically because there's a 96% male space.
Not have a path. He dropped out very immediately after Super Tuesday and endorsed Biden. That was the correct thing to do.
It wasn't immediately after Super Tuesday, but it was obvious.
It was right after.
No, it was around the time that I believe Wisconsin, if nothing else. There were several.
You might be right. I say right after. I mean, like
several
within
more
a
primaries
reasonable
after
amount of
that,
time.
and ultimately he did drop out. But it was after the idea of the risk associated with making people stand in lines during COVID and the sort of health toll that was going to take on people.
Well, either which way, that was the correct move to do, and he got a lot of criticism from the left flank for endorsing Biden. A lot of people viewed that to be a betrayal, but I think that itself kind of shows you that people that have that kind of view, I really don't think that they're seriously gaming out the dynamics. And I think it's misguided. I don't think they're evil. I don't think Hassan's evil. I don't think you guys are evil. But philosophically, I don't understand the principle that you uphold by allowing Donald Trump to win or by not doing everything you can.
Do you actually think in your heart of hearts that the shit that Mamdani did by listening to people a year out, asking what is it your main concern about living in this city, and then making his campaign pillars exactly that, do you actually think that that's leftist or lefty shit or Marxist?
No, I think that's just, no, I think that's just
what I want. But you've said time and time again.
But look what he's doing. But look what he's doing when he has power.
Please.
I'm trying to simultaneously agree with you, but make something that's a very important point. You have said time and time in the past that wouldn't work in other cities, in other states, because it's too blue, it's too lefty. It's not something you can do anywhere else. Yes, you have. You sure as fuck have.
No.
And the idea, also, one of the other things that, sure, fuck it. If you want
How many me and who's do you got left in you, Hanfus? You'll keep making them. All right? You don't help your defenders? What? Don't just say I'm not into men. Say I'm into women. What, dude? What? You don't even need to defend me. Okay, stop. I can defend myself.
I disagree with that, that's fine, but you certainly fucking have.
No, I said people should adopt Mamdani's approach and take
Nationwide?
whatever. Yes, of course. In any kind of race, I think
the same campaign.
That's what I was saying. You can't copy paste his policy prescription necessarily, but you should definitely look to him for lessons in terms of interfacing with the public.
What do you guys think? Anything good comes from tonight that we can shake hands on is you turning around and saying that people should adopt Mamdani's approach nationwide. Fuck yeah.
In terms of interfacing.
What do you fucking think of Mamdani endorsing Hochul, you fucks?
There's probably a little too
Both
soon.
of you, answer that. I don't give a shit. I'm out of here after this. I don't give a fuck about this conversation. What do you
why
think
ask the
about
fucking
Mamdani endorsing Hochul?
I am undecided. I think that
that's what I thought.
I think that the arguments that I've heard on both sides are compelling to me, and I've only seen like the Cliff Notes version, so I'd want to engage with it more before I said any more than that. What about you?
What kind of answer is that?
No, I said it was probably a little too soon.
It's an honest answer.
So I have a response to that, Vadim, because I fucking was incredibly incensed at Hochul when she decided not to initiate any kind of action against Adams in response to like one of the most corrupt DOJ actions that we've ever seen. However, even though I was incensed and I said I will never abide by any support of like Hochul, I won't do it. I am not going to in this moment say Mamdani I'm going to throw him to the trash because he decided to endorse Hochul, because there's a pragmatism about me, which is if I want Mamdani to achieve his goals, then I understand that there's a window of space and tolerance that I'm going to grant there. And so I have no problem. And I think that should be the attitude, is that we're harm reduction.
You know what also sucks? I think that there's a valid critique of Hutch here. I think that Hutch's appeal to moderates is toxic. I don't think he's correct. He grossly underestimates the violence level of the average normie. I think the average normie is a hypocrite when it comes to tolerating levels of fascism. I think that normies are the entire problem with this country right now, because the average American normie is so stupid and so retarded that I don't think you should ever appeal to a retard. I think it is a horrible strategy to try to appeal to a population that enjoys John Wick and then say that they're against violence or political violence. They enjoy John Wick, someone who kills a bunch of motherfuckers over a dog, and they say, well, revenge, wrong, blah, blah, blah. Dude, the average normie is violence inclined, okay? They're violence inclined. They love violence, all right? How many motherfuckers after 9/11 was like, oh yeah, we're going to kill Osama bin Laden? All of them, all right? All of us, right? Bro, you really think the average normie is like peace-loving, fucking, whatever Hutch thinks are people who are calm and, they don't care about much, and they just want to... just want to go home and fucking reap the farm or whatever. No, dude, motherfucker, okay? Like, dude, don't be naive, all right? The average normie is insane, okay? You underestimate how crazy the average normie gets, all right? These motherfuckers, the most exercise they'll get is from being drunk, and they'll get into fights and then divorce their wife and beat their wife. Like, this is the normie. The average normie is Mr. Domestic Violence. All right? That's the average normie. The average normie is a wife beater. Okay? The average normie is a wife abuser. All right? The average normie believes in essential oils. Okay? Hutch, you have a lot to learn, little guy-o. Okay? All right? You little boyo. Okay? You have a lot to learn. Okay? But there is a valid critique there. But these lefties right here, okay, are the last people who should make that. It should be liberals making that take, not lefties. All right? I should make that take, not these guys. Okay? Because at least I want the Democratic Party to improve. These guys do not. All right? These guys do not.
And if you want Mamdani to succeed, he needs to have the support of Albany. And so I don't understand why it's the case that this becomes an issue. It's like a lot of lefties, not necessarily you guys, are immune to power and immune to what it takes. And that's one of the.
But it kind of sucks. And I think it sucks that people cannot leverage valid criticism towards Hutch that does not make them look like unhinged lefties. I think that the liberals on Lib and Learn do this very well. But then all the haters are like so deranged. They invalidate any critique about Hutch that are genuine. It's so stupid. I blame Vadim and Ogre for invalidating critique that I would give to Hutch and for painting me as like a lefty or some shit. I remember when I was debating Hutch was trying to like think of me as like some kind of fucking lefty. Like, I think that's what he thinks of me. He thinks of me as like a lefty or some shit. I don't know. He doesn't think of me as a lefty. Sorry, my bad. That's an exaggeration, okay? But it's just like, he's like, oh, you're very spite-driven, you're very doomer pill, you're very black pill. No, motherfucker. I think my strategy is better than yours, okay?
Things I think that could be learned.
Okay, I know you said not you guys, but by and large, we're not the other people that you're arguing with at the moment.
But you're hurting Mamdani.
You just hurting him. He endorsed her too soon, so that is who he's
arguing. You're hurting Mamdani by not getting behind him and not finding a reason to support his decisions. Even Mamdani's not good enough.
Why is it that blind support for public?
Not blind support.
No one's talking blind support. No one's talking blind.
Mamdani is a mayor. Why do I care about a mayor? Who cares about... Why are we still talking about Mamdani anyway? Does this even matter? Really? Mamdani? Who cares? Okay, can we go back to talking about stuff on a federal level, please? Federal level? On a federal level? Really? Okay.
So why are you assuming I don't support him?
Because you're critical of it. You're critical of it.
How is that... Okay, yeah, I have an opinion that it was probably a little too soon, much in the same way that Hutch said.
This is the problem.
That the Democrats should have waited maybe another week before they fucking gave in and
New York is a very important place. Yeah, to New Yorkers, okay, who are full of themselves. But actually, you're ants. Okay, you're tiny, itty-bitty little ants. You're an atom in that city.
Oh my God.
I hear
And in Watchmen, you guys all died.
There's no consistency and no through line.
I hereby declare...
There's some Darius drama. Okay, you don't need to say Darius drama. That's repetitive, okay? You mean just Darius, right?
Donnie belongs to the liberals now. He's ours, okay? Because you guys will turn on him fully at some point. I promise you.